Welcome to List Critics 2, Critics United.
Wait, you know what? Let's do that. We got to do something about your volume here.
Am I high, low?
You were very low there.
Okay.
You sounded kind of muffled.
Okay.
Sound better now.
Oh, all right. So, anytime?
When ready.
Welcome to List Critics 2, Critics United.
Critics Unite. I guess.
Well, we're united in a cause of tearing them down.
It's a thing.
Yes.
Something.
All right. Okay, I've done better, all right? I get
it. This is indeed the List Critics 2, and we're going to begin, as we usually do, with Tumblr Gets Deep from PleadedJeans.com. So, Harmless Cheesecake here posts, my laptop wasn't working, so I yelled Christo at it. The screen immediately turned black. I'm performing an exorcism now.
Christo?
Or maybe Christo? I don't know. So they share a picture of the dead laptop on the floor, and there's like a circle with a pentagram around it and little symbols and stuff. And somebody says, is that silly string? And somebody says, it's not silly string if it's a very serious matter. And then another person says, serious string.
Serious string. But wait, they said an exorcism? Isn't that more of like a satanic ritual?
Perhaps.
Because pentagram and all that stuff?
Well, there's nothing inherently evil about a pentagram.
I guess not, but, you know, I mean, you look at one and people think...
morons think that.
Yeah.
Amateur Cracksman says, yes, but how do I know you're dating me for my heart and not for my international criminal empire? And Entropy Samples replies with, because your international criminal empire is what you do and not who you are. And Amateur Cracksman says, that is so sweet, I just might stab someone.
Don't let your empire define you. You define your empire.
Ghost Drama says, I love old science fiction because it's all like, it's the distant year 2003 and man is exploring the deep corners of the universe. Like, God bless you, old sci-fi. You had such high hopes for us.
Yeah, if only. Or, you know, we already had flying cars by the year 1985.
Who the hell really wants a flying car when you think about it? Can you imagine the insurance payments on a bitch like that?
Or the potential for crashing?
Well, that's why your insurance would be so high. I mean, you would technically probably need a pilot's license.
Well, yeah, I guess you're like flying a car plane.
Yeah. Friend Zone says, what is this? I've seen this one. What is a sex drive? Where is the sex going? Does it even have a license?
Yeah. Heck, they made a movie based on that pun called Sex Drive.
You know, and the last time we had that particular one on List Critics 2, you made that same observation.
Well, that's very eerie that I think the same way I think.
Yeah, you think like you.
Get out of here.
So there's another repeat here where Kermit the Frog says, listening to a good song, but it was in a Shrek film, so the entire time you're like... And there's this picture of this drawing of a very nervous-looking kid with headphones on with Shrek in the background.
Oh, no, Shrek is love.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's see if you make the same observation about Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
Well, I mean, come on. You can't not.
I gladly spread my butt cheeks for Shrek.
Oh, man.
Craving says, someone somewhere is going to get a puppy at this very moment, and I'm smiling because I can only imagine their happiness. Why are there so many repeats here?
I don't know.
You know what? I'm going to back out of this one because I think this might be... I think occasionally they decide to do like the clip show here on Tumblr Gets Deep.
The best of.
Yeah, the very best of. And because occasionally there's like one where there's like one or two near the beginning and the rest are completely old. And I've noticed that a few... So I'm just going to say that other than the serious string, that was all bullshit here.
Maybe there was a Tumblr writer's strike.
A Tumblr writer's strike. They had to do a bottle show, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, no, I did that one with Payton, so we can't do that one. Let's see. Ah, here we go. Here's a good one. Tumblr gets deep. All right, we're starting over again here. So this first one says, birds. What a beautiful morning. But you know what this needs? Yelling.
Yeah. I don't mind waking up to crows, though. I kind of like...
That's the loudest, most obnoxious bird there is.
Yeah, but when you grow up hearing that every morning, you're kind of like, all right,
It's
morning
true.
time.
That's true. Party Baracks in the house tonight says, never let your printer know that you waited until the last minute to print something and you're in a hurry. They can sense fear.
And then it's just errors.
Wow.
Or...
It would be a shame if you got a paper jam.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly printer ink's low.
Yeah. Make Me Smile says, I really should stop using the password I created in the 5th grade for every account I ever make ever. And Angel replies with, my Neopets account and my bank account have the same password.
Neopets.
That is so sad.
Big Sweet Cat Lover 69.
Oh, I think you might be confusing that with Furcadia.
Oh, Furcadia?
You know what that is.
Is it a furry thing?
Yeah, I mean, didn't she get that from the fact that it's called Furcadia?
Furcadia? Who
it's
knows?
Like the furry version of Neopets.
Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly. Dejo42 says, does putting signs in windows that say no Wi-Fi, haha, talk to each other, sweeties, ever do anything good, or do potential customers just say, oh, well, there's another place down the street that's infinitely less pretentious. Want to go there instead?
Yeah. Have you seen those signs ever?
I have not.
Because that is a bit pretentious of them.
I have not. As a matter of fact, I mean, my auto mechanic has Wi-Fi in his place.
Makes sense.
Oh, I mean, for the customers to use. So, like, I mean, every place has Wi-Fi.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to do there? Try and nudge a Twix out of a machine the whole time?
Oh, well, that's at the dealership. You got to do it at the dealership. Lardy Poison says, so do you think in the 1700s there were people who were like, nah, man, Mozart's a total sellout. I only listen to peasants beating things with sticks. It's way more authentic.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's, I've seen that one before, but that is good.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
Dejo42 again. This is the same one as the Wi-Fi one. He says, how fucked up would it be if an astronaut was coming back to Earth and everybody hid for a bit?
Yeah. What happened?
Dress a couple of monkeys up in suits and have them
They
wander
blew
around.
it up.
Yeah. You maniacs! Damn you to hell! 5,000 Letters says, 13-year-old me would be terrified and is in awe of who I am right now. Undead Lil Princess says, 13-year-old me didn't think we'd get this far. And Pork Rub says, I'd fight 13-year-old me. Ain't it the truth?
I like that, yeah. I think back to 13-year-old me, it's like, come on, what are you doing?
Yeah. Just Shower Thought says, are Medusa's leg hairs tiny snakes? Good question.
Does it just kind of keep going down? Like, with snakes? I don't know.
Like, is it snakes all over? I don't want to know. I don't really want to know if the carpet matches the drapes in that sense.
Oh, carpet matches the snakes. God.
Yeah, there you go. Blair Wildorf says, for someone who loves sleep so much, you'd think that I'd sleep earlier.
Well, early is really relative. I mean, I go to sleep between 9 and 10 a.m.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
I don't miss it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
King Shamer 69 says, too much art that's about sex, not enough art that's about how many M&Ms taste better than the regular ones.
I think that's more,
I disagree. I don't, when it comes to M&Ms, I'll try any new kind that comes out, but I always go back to the original.
For that, it's just texture more than anything.
I think it's candy to chocolate ratio.
You know, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
I think that's what I think that the original M&Ms, and I ain't knocking the ones with the peanuts or the almonds or the little Rice Krispie things or whatever. Those are all good, but the originals are perfect.
I'm mostly in it for the chocolate.
Yeah, I mean, it melts in your mouth, not in your hands.
Yeah.
Perfect. M&Ms are my favorite candy, so I could talk about M&Ms all
Oh,
day.
well, there you go. Secret
Dry-
revealed.
Dry Bones Without You says handwriting is so cool because it's like the written equivalent of the sound of someone's voice. And Ava J says, I will forever think of handwriting this way now. That is true.
Well, then I'm...
And you
I
get
guess-
people like me who have very good voices, but I have to print because I wrote in cursive, you'd never be able to read what the fuck I wrote. I don't even know what the fuck I wrote.
Yeah, if I write in cursive or, God forbid, print, it's like, oh, little Timmy, 5-year-old, learned
Chicken
how to
scratch.
finally write. Yeah,
I know. It's very legible in print, but in cursive, it's just it's a nightmare without end. Egbert says, am I overreacting, or do I have a valid reason to feel the way I do? A novel by me.
How long is this novel exactly?
It's serialized format. They send you the next chapter every month.
Paid subscription.
Lord of the Internet says, some thoughts are so private that you only share them with a therapist or 17,000 people on the Internet.
No kidding, right?
That's the way it works, yep. Alchemist says, moment of silence for all my wasted potential. That's dark.
Yeah, that's going a little... Maybe you need to tell 17,000 people on the Internet.
Just Shower Thought says, at one point in my life, I was exactly pi years old. And Infinite XX Thought says, what have you done?
For one brief...
For one extremely irrational moment.
Yes.
Pizza Back says, I hate how the stereotype is that dolphins are good and sharks are evil. When dolphins are so smart, they have the capacity for evil, but sharks are simple fish who can only be true neutral. So even if a minority of dolphins are evil, there's still more evil dolphins than sharks.
Sharks, just chaotic neutral.
Yeah. And Ninja Chibi 117 says, shit's heating up in the shark fandom.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Deep.
Jinko says, sniffs wine. Do I detect a hint of grapes?
Sometimes it's the simple ones that really get you.
Evil Blogger says, I want Bernie Sanders to become president because when they debrief him about the aliens, I think he will tell all of us, and that's what we truly need.
I never heard enough, not that I've heard enough, but I never really saw a lot of impressions of Bernie Sanders. Other than that Curb Your Enthusiasm guy.
Well, I mean, I'm still not convinced they're not the same person.
Really?
But, what's funny is that Hillary Clinton, in a pretty pathetic attempt to get votes, said that she would reveal if there were aliens if she became president.
I didn't know she said that. That's weird.
That is pretty weird, isn't it?
That's weird.
He says, I think people deserve to know. All right, what is this? Dingo Innuendo says, okay, what I want is a Klondike bar commercial where they... Oh, I've seen this one. It's just a repeat from a really, really long time ago. So it's an oldie, but I like it. I don't think we've ever done it on List Critics, though.
Okay.
So Dingo Innuendo says, okay, what I want is a Klondike bar commercial where they get a 5-year-old girl with pigtails jumping rope and a pink skirt and say, what would you do for a Klondike bar? And the girl stares at the camera and it zooms in really close and she whispers, I'd kill a man. And,
sounds like a Family Guy joke.
wait, it gets better. Mr. Ransom says, then at the end of the commercial, there's a flash of her eating a Klondike bar. And Danny Girl 7 says, and the camera is angled like it's been dropped on the floor but is still recording.
Ah, okay, that's better.
I'd kill a man. Going to Buffalo says, how fucked up would it be if you jumped in a ball pit and it was just tomatoes painted different colors?
Messy. It would be messy.
It would be messy. It's just a bunch of it's those goofy looking heirloom tomatoes.
I mean, it would be messy at first, but then you're like, well, I'm already in here. Time to roll around.
You might as well at that point, right?
Yeah.
That reminds me, me and all my friends were having a chat on the AOL Messenger back when that was a thing.
Huh?
You know that guy that we've talked about, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The druggie.
Yeah.
He thought he was so funny and random, and at one point he said that he I took a shit once in the Peter Piper ball pit.
What's the Peter Piper?
It's a pizza place.
Okay.
Kind of like Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh God, yeah.
He announced that he took a shit in the Peter Piper pizza ball pit, and we started making fun of him, and then he denied that he ever said it.
Well,
and this was all in the span of like 5 minutes.
Oh.
So. Dejo42 again. This guy keeps appearing here. Says, were a lot more stars visible to the dinosaurs because there was no light pollution? Did they like the stars? Did they know what they were? Or did they not care because they were busy being dinosaurs?
I think they just didn't care. Like, oh yeah, that's what the up looks like. This is what the down looks like.
Exactly. That's what the up looks like. Yeah. But wait. So there's a drawing here of like a dinosaur foot and like a little tiny dinosaur looking up and going, "Hey, Carl!" And then the dinosaur's huge head comes down. "Hi, what's up, Steve? Could you help me with that little thing again?" "Sure, no problem." And he puts them on his head, and they're like looking up at the stars, smiling.
Aww.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's something from a Pixar movie.
Carl, that star is approaching awfully fast.
Oh no! Oh no, it's an optical illusion.
Had to go there. All right. Well, anyway, that's Tumblr Gets Deep out of 21. There were a few repeats, but they were from so long ago. I think they're from before we started doing these.
Oldies but goodies.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 17.
I'm going 18.
Oh snap!
Making it legal.
Legal in California.
Yeah.
All right. Also from Pleated Jeans, we have Twitter jokes. 15 Twitter jokes everyone should read. Brent at Merman5 says, Shipwreck Diary. Day 1, alone, doing well, mentally sound, met a crab. Day 2, I have married the crab. Day 3, I have eaten my wife.
Man, talk about escalation.
That escalated at a shocking pace. The Garbage Shit Boy at Dave Diddle says, I must make this movie. Nick Cage reading a menu.
I can see that escalating quickly.
It's true, yeah. Nia Thermopolis at Amykin says, therapist, you're not alone. Me. Yes, of course. Aliens. Space Girl
is out there.
Yeah, Space Girl Incognito at I Am Space Girl says, me. How I will drift gently off to dreamland. Refrigerator. I shall make us some ice cubes.
They just wait. Let me start again. Do those ice cube makers make it on their own?
Well, there's like, yeah. I mean,
you don't press a button to make your ice cubes?
No, they're not talking about the thing in the front of the fridge that shoots the ice cubes out. But like, you know how some freezers have like the thing, like the huge thing of ice cubes, and then when it gets low, you hit the little lever and it'll eventually fill it up?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, well, there you know.
Well, cool.
Okay, so Stephanie Boland at Stephanie Boland posts a picture of a very weird painting of a cat with like really long legs. Says, I'd like you to paint me a cat. A what? A cat. You do know what a cat is, right? You've seen a cat? Yeah, of course.
So, they've never seen a cat.
It's a very abstract cat in the painting. I think that's the joke there.
That's weird.
Fred Delicious at Fred Delicious says, help, I'm covered in chameleons and no one believes me. Oh, Jesus.
I like that.
Terrible. Chameleons don't blend into their surroundings. They don't.
Well, no.
It's not a thing.
But still funny.
Fan of Green Gables at Meatball Wizard says, Meatball Wizard, me, hey, look at me, I put a bugle chip up to my mouth like the musical instrument. Toot, 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 prison guard. How'd you get that?
What? Prison guard?
Alright, that went in a different direction.
Yeah, left turn, man.
Nathan Escher at the Nate Wolf says, telescopes probably use mirrors, which means there is absolutely no way to know how many vampires there are in space.
Yeah, what if there's like a whole fleet out there? Well, I guess that means they make ships out of vampires.
Yeah, I mean, you would see the like their clothes floating around or something, right?
Maybe they're just naked.
Oh, well, in space, that's rough, though.
Yeah, but they're vampires.
They're probably not enjoying that too much.
Maybe over generations, they got used to it.
Try to suck blood and it's all frozen, so you have to just like lick it.
Yeah, it's like blood licks, like salt licks.
Bob Wolfoff at Bob Wolfoff says, Building Inspector, what's this called? Darth Vader. The Health Star.
The Health Star.
The Health Star. Maura Quint at Behind Your Back says, let he who is without sin throw the first stone. After that, we'll go by who has the birthday closest to today, then by height.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
These aren't bad. Usually these are bad, but they aren't bad today.
Yeah.
Rob Elliott at Rocky Momac says, me as a magician, pulls rabbit from hat. Audience, ooh, pulls knife from hat. Knife from hat. Ooh, pulls saute pan from hat. No!
You know where this is going, folks.
Hey, rabbit stew. Mike F. at Mike Fossey says, it's stupid when girls say they can't find a guy yet they ignore me. It's like saying you're hungry when there's a hot dog on the ground outside.
There's a hot dog on the ground. Way to build yourself up.
Yeah. Goth Ms. Frizzle at Spook Person posts a photograph of a grave that just says Waldo, and she says, we got the bastard.
Oh, man. I want to know that story.
Mr. B. Arthur at Fuckabilly Rex. Let's just react to Fuckabilly Rex there. Parkour, I shout as I roll out of bed for the first time in nearly 30 hours.
Parkour?
I like those people that like wall jump and shit.
Yeah, free running or whatever.
Lisa Marie at Lisa X says, opens a window and the wind blows 84 hamburger wrappers from my desk. Oh no, my research!
What?
Wow.
I like that, dude.
That was good. Yeah, all right. Out of 15, I gotta say, I'm gonna give it like a 14.
Yeah, I'll give it a 13.
I think this is one of the best Twitter jokes we've had.
Way to be, Twitter. Way to be.
I have another Twitter list here. I just thought this would be amusing. It's 15 hilariously bad office parties as described on Twitter.
Oh, man.
So Andrea Miller at Lil Louie Who says, won the ugliest Christmas sweater award. Didn't know it was an ugly Christmas sweater party. Hashtag office party fail.
Oh,
these are all used with the hashtag office party fail, by the way.
Aw.
Tim Drake at Tim Drake says, my boss was excited for us to meet his new girlfriend. Turns out he was dating my ex that I brought the previous year.
Oh, no.
Awkward. Wow.
Awkward.
Ozzy Emerald says, decided not to go. All my coworkers got $300 gift cards and I accidentally broke my toes on my couch leg.
Oh, man. It's rough.
Well, I would gotta think that if they bought gifts for everybody, you would still get the gift even if you weren't at the party, right?
Maybe they're like, well, she forfeits her gift card. Who gets it?
Eric Radis at Sar Christine 18 says, it's all fun and games until you're holding your crying boss's hair telling her that her eggs are still viable.
Oh, jeez.
Wow, that's not a joke, by the way. That's something that happened to this poor woman.
Man, that's just really sad.
Wow. All Night at Whoopie Pie 10 says, my boss was dancing on his desk and decided to do a trust fall. No one caught him.
Oh, that says something, doesn't it?
Well, you got to tell people that what you're doing is a trust fall. Otherwise, you're just falling.
Or don't say trust fall as you're falling.
Yeah, you gotta explain very clearly what you're doing and make sure that people understand what's expected of them.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they want. You're.
Although, to be honest, if he was dancing on the desk, he was probably trying to crowd surf because he's probably drunk as fuck.
Yeah.
Ed Hill at King Hill says, a coworker was forced to participate in a $10 maximum Secret Santa one year. He protested by bringing 10 $1 cucumbers. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Blair Gilbert at Blair Michelle P says, had a send-off party for a coworker. Boss ordered a stripper. Stripper was my 4th grade math teacher.
Whoa.
That is an odyssey of fail.
Yeah. Like, what would you think? How would you react?
Why would you even get a stripper for an office party?
You know there's going to be at least one person going, oh, well, I never.
Al at Miss Schliz says, I stayed sober to avoid embarrassing myself in front of my coworkers. Then my heel broke and I fell into the punch bowl.
And then all the punch went away somehow, magically.
At Kutkoski Anthony says, was flirting with a woman at a party and trying to get her number. Coworker leans over and whispers, that's the boss's wife.
Ooh.
At least he was told.
Yeah, what if that kept going? Oh, man.
Ashley Gunn at It's Ashley says, my mom's best friend got drunk and quit her job. She slipped down the stairs and farted on her way out. She must have been holding it in for a while, you know?
Oh, man. That's good.
Anthony Horner at Fro Horner says, we played hide and seek in our huge performance arts venue and no one could find the last guy. It shows a picture that he's actually hiding up in, like, the rafters.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
That sure is. Ross Uri at Crohn's Ninja says, one coworker went to get some wine and opened up the boss's $10,000 bottle of wine.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm sure they enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, everybody except the boss.
Yeah. Kevin Stone at Stone Doctrine says, introduced my 6-year-old daughter to my boss at Christmas party. She looked at me and asked, so he's the asshole?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, kids say the darndest things.
Oh, don't they?
This person's Twitter name is just a bunch of wingdings, so I'm not going to try to say that. But it's at Sky Blue Melon. Office party was made mandatory since no one showed up to the last one. No one showed up to this one either. No one showed up to the last office party. Instead of trying to make it mandatory, why don't you just not have one?
Yeah, just save the trouble, you know?
Yeah. And finally, Lisa Lemon at Ms. Eric says, my boss ordered 2 pizzas for 15 employees, then ate one by herself.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Dang, man.
What an asshole. That's the worst one.
Yeah, that's bad.
That is definitely the worst. Well, okay, no, maybe the stripper being your English teacher, that might be the worst one, but out of 15, I'm going to give this a 12.
You know, I'm on board with 12.
You're on board with 12? Legal nowhere.
Well, no.
Okay, so I got a link here from Tickled. It's 30 of the dumbest explanations people actually tried to give.
For anything?
I guess I haven't read this one yet, so.
Okay.
All right. So, actually, I read the first one, and then I just kind of left it at that. So, this first one I read. Number 1, ex-boss. You shouldn't leave on time every day. You should stay back a little. But why? Because it looks like you aren't working as hard to others. But I come in to work a half hour early every day. Yeah, but no one sees that.
Well, that's just stupid.
Yeah, that is just stupid. Remember, it's dumbest. That's the list.
Very appropriate example.
Number 2, my boss was at the pet shop trying to sell a customer on a 4-digit 5-star kibble subscription. Dogs are domesticated wolves. Wolves are 100% carnivorous, and that's why this grain-free meat-based kibble with oats and potato is best. Dogs have no business eating grains. They're carnivores. Oh, okay, and potatoes and carrots are meat, yes? And what, if not a grain, is oats? Also, ever heard of evolution? Wolves didn't just become floppy-eared and hydrocephalic on their way to becoming chihuahuas and sausage dogs. Their dietary spectrum changed, too. Grain-free is cool, but if you're going to go wolf on a customer, don't act like potato is more wolfish than rice.
Whoa. Slow your roll, buddy.
Well, I can understand how that would be very annoying, but I think that maybe they took it too far there.
Yeah, just say, rice and potatoes are not meat, and then leave.
Yeah. By the way, that person's name on Reddit is Douche Baguette.
Oh, that's clever.
Okay, number 3, I had just moved into a new apartment, and the maintenance guy was showing me around. The smoke detector was beeping, so I pointed out that it needed new batteries or needed to be replaced. He responded, no, it just does that so you know that it's turned on.
Oh, jeez.
No, the chirping definitely means the batteries are dead or dying.
Yeah. Bloop, bloop.
Number 4, about 20 years ago, my grandparents were on a road trip with my aunt and uncle, and they got lost in the middle of the night. They didn't have smartphones back then, so they had no choice but to stop at a Burger King for directions. My uncle, excuse me, we're lost. Where are we? Cashier, Burger King. Well, that's the opposite of helpful.
Yeah. Please expand.
Yeah. Like maybe what town? You know?
Yeah.
Geez. Number 5, dude. People were shorter in the past. My friend's explanation as to why the shower heads in our dorm were at chest level. The building was built in the 80s. Yes, Tom, I'm sure the average height of a person was a full foot shorter in the 80s than it is now. Well, you were around in the 80s. Don't you remember how little people were?
Yeah, I mean...
I remember. I was little because I was a kid.
Yeah, back when the shower head was like eye level when I was like 5.
Yeah, right. Number 6, you can't drive from New York to Canada because New York is a state and Canada is a different country. She said this to me as I was explaining that I had driven from New York to Canada the previous week. I still don't understand. It's been nearly 15 years since that moment, and it still blows my mind every time I think about it.
Oh, just face palming, man.
Wait, so she thinks you can't drive from New York into Canada because it's a different country?
One is a state and one is a country. They don't mix!
Maybe she's thinking like there's literally like a wall.
Or maybe like, she's just thick.
Well, yeah, but that I'm trying to find the thick logic, so to speak.
Ah, okay. Maybe
Number
they're just
7.
done.
A guy at work says the world must be flat because if it was round, people in Australia would just fall off as they're on the bottom. I tried to explain how that's not the case, and like with many of his arguments, he replied, "That's what they want you to believe." He was dead serious about it, too.
I hope he was just going all in on this weird joke of his. Otherwise, he's got problems.
I'm willing to bet either way he's got problems.
Yeah.
Number 8, buddy of mine was looking at a flock of birds flying in a V, and one side was longer than the other. He said to me, "Hey, you know why the right side of the V is longer?" "I don't know, why?" "Because there's more birds on that side."
That's logic right there.
Yeah, well, yeah. Number 9, Native American here. Social teacher thought that everyone was once white and lived in the East and said that Native Americans are brown because we ate fish. Wait, what?
The fuck? It must be all that the metals in the fish.
Yeah.
Makes
you brown?
Yeah.
And they don't eat fish anywhere else, right?
Nope. Just Native Americans.
Amazing. Number 10, when I was in kindergarten, my mom would write my name on every crayon/marker because she thought it was funny. I noticed another girl with my name written on a pink crayon on her box, and when I said it was mine, she said her mom must have written that by mistake.
Oh, kids.
That's a dedication to a lie right there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Number 11, I know this paper says you're being underpaid, but we do that intentionally. We pay you less so we can afford to give better raises when we promote you.
That was actually said. Oh.
They probably did like a little smile after they said it too. Like they were probably very proud of that.
Yeah. Get it? Yeah, now give me what I deserve.
Yeah. Number 12, Porsches are faster than regular cars because the engine is in the back, so it pushes the car instead of pulls it. Oh, that's good. Oh, delicious, delicious stupidity.
Oh, that's funny.
Number 13, why to burn trash? Well, I could put the trash into a landfill where it's going to stay for millions of years, or I could burn it up, get a nice smoky smell in here, and let that smoke go into the sky where it turns into stars.
Whoa, what? What?
No, that was fine up until that last part.
Well, even the smoky smell, it's not going to be a smoky smell. It's going to be a trash smell.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's literally a garbage fire, but, I mean,
yeah.
But there was nothing incredibly dumb until they think the smoke becomes stars?
That's where it just gets weird.
That's very strange.
So stars are not smoke.
Like, there are people that probably think that stars are just like little points of light up.
Yeah, like they're as small as they look.
Yeah. Number 14, there's a sign on the wall of the service counter at our local mom-and-pop grocery store that reads, "There's no reason for it, it's just our policy. The owner simply points to it if he refuses to give a refund."
Just keeps pointing.
But does he know that policy means that there should be a reason? Like, that's what policy means?
Don't make me tap the sign.
Yeah, right. Number 15, that it didn't rain when the stars are out. She didn't understand that it meant there were no clouds. She thought the stars were blocking the rain.
Wait, what?
Wow. Stars are blocking the rain. They're getting in the way.
It's a force field. It's a force field.
Yeah. Number 16, absolute dumbest thing. Flies can stick to the ceiling because they ain't got no gravity. It hurt to have a conversation with this guy.
They ain't got no gravity.
Well, I guess that's as good an explanation as any.
Well,
I mean, it's not,
is it though?
No, it's not, but I mean, if you ask somebody who has no idea and they just like hazard a guess, that's probably what they would come up with, you know?
It's like saying alligators are ornery because they got no toothbrush for all them teeth.
Yeah, there you go. Number 17, driving past a random rock formation in California that somewhat resembled Pride Rock from Lion King, and told my buddy that's where they filmed the movie, knowing it was an animated movie. He responded with, well, how did they get all the animals here since most of them don't live in California?
That's
That's the joke.
Exactly.
Number 18, someone I know takes vitamin C when they're late with their period because after taking vitamin C, their period will show up within a few days. Gonna work great until she gets menopause or pregnant.
Yeah, why isn't it working?
I don't even know. I'm just wondering why they think to even do that to begin with.
Is it an old wives' tale or something?
Perhaps. Number 19, because it's distracting and bothers me. A left-in-charge employee on her boss's desk and office, and on asking me, the intern, to completely clean the boss's desk and 5 years' worth of archived design work while he was away for a few months. Okay.
All right.
That ain't going to turn out good, but all right.
No, have at it.
Number 20. Clouds don't actually move. It's the Earth that spins underneath it, which makes it appear like clouds are actually moving. Okay, unless that was like a 3-year-old, that's fucking scary.
Yeah, I want to know who said that.
Because sometimes clouds don't move. Sometimes they move fast as fuck. So does the Earth just spin in whatever direction and speed it feels like that day?
Yeah.
You know, and it's odd. It seems to always go in the same direction as the wind. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's just coincidence.
Yeah, coincidental. Number 21, our business moved into a newly renovated building and had offices on the second floor. They kept the huge windows and put in new sashes but no screens. When we asked why there weren't any screens, the building manager told us they weren't necessary because the bugs don't fly up this high.
Yeah, there's a certain cap where they stop.
Yeah, they're just that's too high for me.
Yeah.
Is a bumblebee like, oh man, I'm afraid of heights, man.
Oh, bumblebees, they're adorable.
I ride a bumblebee to work.
Yeah. Wait, what?
My name is Uncle Smushy and I ride a bumblebee to work.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You can shut up! Goodbye!
You lost me, man.
I guess you weren't at the stream when I was explaining that whole thing.
No, I could only tune in for a little bit, sorry.
Number 22, I worked in aerospace a few years ago and I had an Air Force LT explain GPS as magic from the sky.
Isn't it?
Well, I guess that's as good an explanation as any.
Is it, though?
Number 23, my mom believes full moons can induce birth. My dad backed her by saying, if the moon can affect the tides of the ocean, it probably has an effect on a pregnant woman's water breaking. There's so much wrong with this, I don't even know where to start.
That sounds like some really old world shit.
Yeah. Yeah, full moons affect everything. Because why not?
Especially werewolves.
Because well, that's what they're there for. Number 24, potholes are caused by... Hold on a second. I have to reboot my brain. Oh my god, dude. Are you ready for this?
Potholes?
Are you ready for this person's reasoning of potholes?
Yes.
Potholes are caused by cosmic debris making the Earth heavier.
What? Cosmic debris. So, like...
Not the song by Frank Zappa, I guess.
I know.
Who you jiving with that cosmic debris? You know what's interesting is the person who posted this one actually gives a real explanation as to why they're actually called potholes.
Oh.
Potholes were originally caused by potters needing clay for their craft, and that shit is heavy, so they got it from as close as they could, hence the pothole.
I wonder if that's really what it is.
Well, I mean, why else would they call it a pothole, though? I mean... All right, number 25. Some guy I used to work for tried to tell me that dairy cows just produce milk because they want to. I tried to explain that isn't how cows work. He said that he worked on a dairy farm and that's what he was told. I said, dude, mammals have to have a baby first before they can lactate. His response were, cows aren't mammals, they're cows. Yep.
So humans are not mammals, they're humans.
Yeah, they're humans. Mammal is a specific thing, I guess.
Yep.
Number 26. I had a former neighbor claim that the reason my pit bull is so aggressive is that he's in heat. That was why his male dog, the one he let roam free through the neighborhood, was causing so much mayhem. The same neighbor had been kicked out of a gang twice. He was also keeping a second pit bull terrier for a friend who went to prison. For those unfamiliar with sexual reproduction in mammals, male dogs do not give birth, ovulate, or go through the estrous cycle. Therefore, heat only happens to female mammals, such as cats, dogs, horses, or rats. Not to digress, but the human menstrual cycle is similar. Research has indicated that women tend to have more sexual thoughts and are far more prone to sexual activity right before ovulation.
Huh.
His pit bull is in heat. Constantly.
He is in heat.
Yeah. Dumbass. Number 27, when my wife and I were taking birthing classes, the nurse who taught the course told us, Asians have squinty eyes because all the sun in Asia. They had to evolve that way to see. That's amazing. Holy crap.
Somebody really went there, didn't they?
Wow, dude. Wow. You'd think as a nurse she would know better, but...
A nurse maybe went to, like, I don't know, one of those fake nurse
Hollywood
colleges.
Upstairs Medical School.
There you go.
Yeah. Number 28. Islands float because solids are lighter than liquids, which is also why ice cubes float.
Oh my god, who are these people? Islands float.
Yeah, they're not the tops of mountains. They're just pieces of land floating on the water.
Yeah, it's like Angel Island in Sonic 3.
Number 29. If you work out while you're hungover, you burn like twice the calories, man.
I want to know that logic.
Who knows? Who knows?
That's good.
And finally, number 30, when I was in grade 11, my best friend was too scared to come on a camping trip because his parents actually raised him to believe that Bigfoot was a monster that runs loose in the forest.
Oh, the Sasquatch.
Well, you gotta think if there was a such thing as Bigfoot, he ain't gonna fuck with you.
No, if he lasted this long just doing his own thing, he keeps doing his own thing.
Mitch Hedberg had a great joke about Bigfoot.
Oh,
He
yeah?
says, all the pictures of Bigfoot are blurry, but maybe that's just what he is, and to me that's scarier. There's an out-of-focus monster running around.
Yeah, you just got to bring his life back into focus.
All right, out of 30, what say you?
Oh my god, so many of these
great.
were just...
That was pretty great. I'm glad I got that one.
I feel a bit dumber now, like after hearing
I don't know, I feel smarter.
Well, I don't know, man.
I feel smarter because I don't believe any of this dumb shit.
Maybe this is just my natural progression.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, out of 30,
Yeah.
28.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. I got another one from Tickle. This is 31 of the most bizarre things that people have actually received in the mail.
Huh. Have you ever received anything bizarre in the mail?
Well, yeah, there was that. Well, it was actually, technically, it was my parents, but they pranked me with it. I did a video on it ages ago. It was a pair of fake breasts.
That's very strange.
Yeah. They ordered some sort of mouse trap thing or something like that. Something to do with mice. I forget exactly what they ordered. And they got that, but then they also got another package from the same people. It was like boobs.
Interesting.
And yeah, they pranked me with it. They pranked my sister with it, and there were these like disembodied titties in a box.
It's just a prank, bro.
Yeah, so I don't know what they were for. I think they were for like, I don't know. I don't know what they were for, to be honest with you, but I thought it was pretty funny.
That's weird.
It was weird, yeah. Because I remember they said the package was for me, and I reached in and I felt something soft. Freaked out. I was like, ah, what the fuck? And they start laughing, and I'm like, what is in here? And there was like these plastic titties. So anyway,
that's this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very strange.
yeah. So once again, I only read the first one here, and then I kind of was like, oh, let's do this on List Critics.
Yeah.
So this is the 31 most bizarre things people have actually gotten in the mail. Number 1, I got a baggie of cat hair to test if I was going to be allergic to the kitten we were considering buying. I wasn't allergic, although sitting around huffing a wad of cat hair is one of the stranger activities to take place in my living room, although we ended up going with a different guy in the end for our fluffy little dude.
That's one way of trying to find out if you're allergic to cats.
And that also wouldn't work because you're not actually allergic to the hair, it's the saliva.
The saliva, sometimes the oil. It really depends.
Yeah, dander. But usually it's the saliva.
It's just the hair kind of keeps it all in.
Yeah. Number 2, a wonderful surprise indeed. It's not exactly weird, but cool and unexpected. I ordered an Xbox 360 way after it was cool to have one because I got addicted to Borderlands games. The box came and was ridiculously heavy for just an Xbox console and some wires. Opened the box and found a Borderlands-themed Xbox and a ton of Borderlands gear, stickers, posters, about 7 different t-shirts, strategy book, a Borderlands controller. Turns out Sarah was moving away, and when we talked about the console, I said I'm only buying it to play Borderlands, so he gifted me the stuff he won in a contest. A wonderful surprise for me.
Oh, wow.
Pretty fucking cool.
Dude likes Borderlands, and then bam, he gets
he gets all that fucking swag there. Number 3, when I was around 20, I got a package in the mail. It was addressed to me in Seattle with no return address and a postmark from Plano, Texas. In the box, wrapped in a circular from the grocery store, presumably local to Texas, was a cheap plastic magnifying glass and one of those plastic pipes you blow bubbles with. Nothing else. I always assumed the pipe and magnifying glass were supposed to signify Sherlock Holmes and perhaps a mystery to be solved. I scoured the box and contents for additional clues, but to no avail. That was nearly 20 years ago. No other packages or clues ever arrived. It's been a mystery ever since, and I have never and will never forget about it. Maybe you should, because really it probably just wasn't meant for somebody else. I mean...
yeah, but...
Although I guess it was addressed to him. Maybe somebody with the same name. I don't know.
Or, I don't know. That's just the context. Like, there's no context, so you don't know where to go with
Somebody's wondering where their magnifying glass and fake pipe is.
Yeah. Pretty good.
That's kind of what I said about the breasts. Like, somebody's wondering, like, where are my boobs?
My boobs.
Number 4, I was at a roadside welcome center somewhere in the Midwest many years ago. There was a soda machine and a locked wooden box next to it that said to write a note with your address in case the machine ate your money. As a joke, my friend wrote, "Put $1 in machine." Flames came shooting out of the machine and burned my face severely. And wrote my name and address. 6 months later, maybe more, I received in the mail an envelope with an official return address on it from whatever state we had been in, with a crumpled up dollar bill and a handwritten note that said, "Sorry about your face."
Wow.
Somebody must have read that and thought it was really funny. Like, all right, that's funny. We'll send the guy $1 just to fuck.
Send him $1.
Yeah. Here's your $1 back. Sorry about your face, brah.
Brah.
Number 5. I guess normally it wouldn't be super weird, but when I was in Iraq, my mom sent me a care package with gummy sharks in it. Just your everyday $2 gummy. The top half was what normal gummy consistency in blue. The bottom half was that foamy type gummy in white. Turns out when you mail multiple things to a desert, they tend to melt, especially if it has to go through the military's in-county mail sorting process where everything needs to sit in a steel box for a week just to make sure everything that can melt does. Yeah. When I got the gummies, they had melted into a single gummy and apparently had been liquid for long enough that the relative densities of the two gummy types caused them to separate back out into a single slab of gummy with one white side and one blue side.
Wow.
Science!
Yes, science, bitch.
Science, bitch!
Yeah.
Number 6. I once ordered a skirt from online. It came in the mail shortly. Then again. And again. After a month, I had 5 identical skirts, and they kept coming.
Oh.
I emailed the seller, got no response, but at some point it stopped. I think I ended up getting 8 or 9 of them in separate packages. That is weird.
Wow, well, you got
Like,
your
wouldn't it be
next
weird if,
Christmas
like,
plan?
they're sending these skirts out to different people, but they're just, like, fucked up and copy-pasted the same address?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, like I said, you got next Christmas planned for all your skirt-wearing friends.
There you go, yeah. Number 7, when I was in college, I was friends with the old lady around the front desk of my dormitory. When I went home for Christmas at the end of the term, I received a lumpy brown paper... let's try that again. I received a lumpy brown paper-wrapped package. She'd made a plate of brownies, stacked neatly on a normal ceramic plate, wrapped the whole thing in brown paper, put my home address on it, and mailed it. They were delicious.
Oh, so it's just weird packaging.
Yeah, well, the fact that she just put a plate, you know?
Yeah.
She didn't put them in a Tupperware or anything, you know?
Just on plate, wrapped.
Yeah, here's a plate of brownies, literally.
Yeah.
Right, I worked at a pizza place, and I ended up in the newspaper because we did a parade. I received a letter from someone telling me to seek the Lord and that the pizza place was evil.
What?
That is weird. Well, you know, Tanya had a friend that worked at the Cape Cod potato chip company.
Cool.
And she showed her a bit of hate mail, because even potato chip companies get hate mail, where it said, how dare you make chips like Nazis?
Wait, does that mean the chips are made like how Nazis make chips, or are they
That's
made...
what I said. I said that I didn't even know that the Nazis would have made potato chips. I thought they had other issues going on.
I don't think I'd ever want to try them in case they tasted good.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to enjoy it, right?
No. I'd probably fake it even if they were good.
You'd be like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. You Nazis are no good at anything.
Change the label.
Number 9, a box full of sand from the Sahara Desert. Friends visiting there sent it to me with a note saying, use the Sahara sand at the bottom of your aquarium as a base for your tank ornaments. It's thirsty.
No, I was going to say, can't stuff live in sand? Isn't there potential to, kind of take something over?
Well, I mean, I don't think they, like, scooped, like, a whole, like, piece of the earth and put it in a box. I think they'd probably just grabbing sand and putting it in a box, you know? Like,
Yeah, I guess it would be different if it was, like, maybe beach sand or something like that.
I mean, it's just little tiny pebbles. It's, you know.
Yeah.
Number 10, a number of years ago, I was in my house having a few beers with a friend. We got some pizza delivered. Later, we thought it would be a good idea to post a slice of pizza to another friend. Stuck that bad boy in a brown envelope, put a stamp on it, and fired it into a post box. Friend mentioned that he got a slice of pizza in the post a few days later. I acted surprised and amused, have still never admitted that it was me, and that was 17 years ago.
A few days later. Wonder how that pizza was.
Would you have eaten it? Because I wouldn't.
No.
Like, I'd be like, what the fuck, man? Wow. All right, number 11. I ordered American History X on DVD and got a Shaggy's Greatest Hits CD instead. I wasn't even mad. I ain't even mad about that, right?
It wasn't me.
Shaggy.
Shaggy.
Okay. Number 12, pills! Thousands of pills. It was supposed to be a scrapbook supplies, but there was a mistake at the sorting facility and a bunch of boxes got destroyed. A new employee, instead of admitting to their supervisor what had just happened, just threw the stuff into new boxes and copied the shipping labels and sent it on its way. There was an official note on the box explaining the box had been damaged in shipping and they had to replace it. Please contact them if the contents are in any way damaged. I mean, the pills were in good shape. I just didn't want to have that kind of possession charge. Local post office didn't believe me, so I brought the whole box into them. I like to imagine there was a... Hold on a second. Oh, your mother.
Oh, Gesundheit.
There you go. I like to imagine that there was a pharmacy out there that was like, I didn't order any dinosaur stickers, but they're mine now.
Dinosaur sticker.
Another time, I ordered a laptop and arrived with a bullet in it. I insisted on opening it before I accepted the delivery because I saw the hole on the outside of the box. The police came and collected it. Apparently there was a shooting at the sorting facility, but they hadn't recovered any bullets. I was the first one to find one, and because there was an unbroken chain of evidence, they were able to use it in the trial. It was a huge hassle to get a new laptop, though. No one wanted to admit that they had to pay for it.
Oh man, wow, that's quite the story.
It That is crazy. I mean, they're both really interesting, and that was the same guy.
I wonder what kind of pills they were.
I don't imagine that they would have found out very easily.
Not even a label on them?
I don't know. It just says pills. Thousands of them, apparently.
Just random pills.
Yeah. Number 13, 48 full-bodied honkers. What's a full Wow. He's going to explain, but already I'm laughing.
Nice honkers.
What's a full-bodied honker, you ask? A goose decoy, as we found out upon opening the box. Imagine the surprise when you open a mostly unmarked box to find 4 goose heads staring at you. There were 12 boxes. After calling to clarify the situation, they said they'd send someone out. Turns out these were for the previous occupant of the house. They did not. After a second call, they told us we had to bring them to the store. Screw that. These boxes are huge. We kept them and told them they'd be here if they ever wanted to come get them. Somewhere, some hunter is fuming mad that they messed up his order of hundreds of dollars worth of honkers. This being senior year of college, the only thing left was to do was to start an epic 3-month-long game of... Oh, sorry. I feel like I'm going to sneeze again. No, it's not happening. An epic 3-month-long game of hide a honker. Nowhere was sacred. Shower, honker. Closet, honker. Laundry room, honker. Wake up hungover Saturday morning, honker. Honkers everywhere. We eventually gave most of them away, and now every one of our friends from college has a matching full-bodied honker commemorating that year.
You wake up next to one like, oh, did I sleep with a honker last night?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Full-bodied honker. I could have used that for the Goosepocalypse.
The Goosepocalypse, yes.
Number 14, we got a pack of thank you notes. A pack of thank you notes. Pack is not even a word.
It is now.
We got a pack of thank you notes. Didn't know who they were from or why we got them until we checked one of the online store's accounts a few days later to see an unauthorized purchase of a cell phone and a package of thank you cards. Well played. Well played. So in other words, for anyone that's not picking up what they're laying down, somebody stole their credit card, bought a cell phone, and sent them thank you cards.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Bastards.
Thank you very much. Number 15, STD learning material. It was addressed to a guy with the same name as me and who lived right down the street. To make a long story short, I moved.
See, the sad thing is anybody that found that out, he can't live it down.
Of course not, no. Number 16, I got a letter that said, from your secret admirer. It was a sheet of paper with the word jerk colored on it. It was a nice drawing. I would so do that to someone.
Jerk.
Jerk. And then put it like, from your secret admirer.
Aww.
Number 17, a bag of white powder sealed in a safety envelope saying that they could not confirm the contents and that the original package had been destroyed. About a week later, I got a call from a friend asking if I had received the hot dog bun they had put in a standard envelope and mailed from across the county.
No, what?
Okay, so they put a hot dog bun in an envelope. It probably got all, like, hard and then got crushed up in the mail. And then they saw white powder and they're like, oh, shit. You know?
Yeah, that's what would go through my head. Like, holy shit.
That's great. That's great. Hot dog, like, who thinks, how drunk do you gotta be? Let's mail this pizza and this hot dog bun.
Yeah, what's with people just mailing food as is?
Number 18, I received a box of literally thousands of coupons for a free chicken biscuit sent by some corporate place in Florida. I have no ties to this place at all, so I was clueless as to why I was shipped a 5 lifetime supply of chicken biscuits. There is a street in our city that is notorious for homeless people to hang out at and beg for food and money, so I just took the box up there and gave it for them to share. Well, that's very nice.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I'd have kept some of them, but that probably would have done the same thing, though. I mean,
yeah,
you don't need all those chicken biscuits. That's...
I mean, you had one, you had them all.
Yeah. I mean, I would have kept enough for, like, okay, this is an amount of chicken biscuits that I would like to have in the near future, and then the rest, yeah, give to the homeless.
Yeah, good move.
I don't need millions of them, you know. Number 19, worked for a newspaper. One wrote a column complaining how bad my favorite sports team was. Okay, wow. Let's back up.
Yeah.
Worked for a newspaper. Once wrote a column complaining how bad my favorite sports team was playing. Must have hit a nerve because a few days later, a reader sent me a letter written on toilet paper telling me I was a piece of crap for bashing our city's team. I respected that. He later called and we had a good chat.
On toilet paper.
You respect being called a piece of crap in the medium of toilet paper?
Everybody's entitled to their wrong opinion.
Yeah. Wow. Number 20, I get sent me stuff on regular basis. What? I get sent me stuff on a regular basis? That's what it says. I'm not fucking up. That's literally what the shit says.
That's weird.
I'm 25. They want me to register, but I'm a bit too young. For what? What?
This is weird.
Also, on an unrelated note, if you email companies and say you love their product, they will send you free food. I have received so much free peanut butter this way. That is true.
What?
If you just like email a company and say just you really like their product, they'll sometimes send you like coupons and shit.
Wicked.
I don't understand the first part of that though.
Yeah, that is some weird syntax happening.
I can't figure out what the hell they were trying to say. All right, number 21. Blackout drunk me ordered a very large dream catcher with a picture of a bald eagle on it. I don't think I've ever been more bewildered than when I was opening that package. It's still hanging on the wall in my living room. Okay.
Like, if you don't remember doing that and then you receive it, like, oh, what brought this on?
Yeah, well, whiskey.
Yeah.
Number 22, my dad got a vacuum, had his name on the package. We didn't order a vacuum. Made some phone calls and checked credit cards, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Got a free vacuum.
Hey, all right, if the shoe fits.
Yeah, just, wow, I mean, weird, but okay.
New vacuum.
Number 23, I have some family in France. I'm Canadian. One day they sent their usual Christmas care package full of stuff for us, and the box arrived damaged. Big hole in the side. Upon opening it, we saw that a bottle of champagne had made its way to us, and we were happy that they had sent us such an amazing gift, and that it had survived what was obviously a rough journey. We thanked them for the thoughtful gift, to which they replied, "We didn't send that." Although we weren't exactly sure what happened, we were fairly certain that some unknown number of packages must have taken a tumble, spilling out their various contents, probably somewhere in France, and some postal worker went, "Oh crap, this must belong here," and jammed the bottle through the hole in the box and sent it on its way. Good bottle it was.
Hey, free
Right.
champagne,
Shit,
all right.
wow. Number 24, I got a letter mailed from Egypt at my university address, which was a brochure to encourage me to explore Islam in California. I have no idea why they thought I was a prospect worth international mail for this. That's weird.
Yeah, that is random.
That is random. That's like if you got a mail from Jerusalem telling you to be a Jew or something. It's just...
Yeah, from the source.
Number 25. Bag of weed when I lived in a student flat many years ago. It was for the previous tenants, also students who had moved out at least 8 months before. There was a note in shaky handwriting saying how much they missed the former occupants and wanted them to have a smoke on them. Not wanting to attract the attention of Johnny Law, me and my flatmates disposed of these dangerous drugs. Dangerous. I bet they disposed of it by burning it.
Yeah, good move. I was waiting.
Burning it very slowly in a tube, right?
I was waiting for someone to have received weed in the mail.
Yeah, I guess what was happening is they were probably the weed dealer for whoever lived there, and they were like, "Oh, here's a free sample. See if you're interested." Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
We disposed of the dangerous drugs. Yeah, I bet you did.
Then they became disposed.
Yeah. Number 26, a delusional conspiracy theorist looked up every employee at my employer, 5,000 employees, we have a public directory, and wrote a personally addressed letter to each of us asking about how our bosses were talking about how our bosses were part of a murderous, Satan-worshipping conspiracy and begging for help in defeating them from the inside.
Whoa, I bet they had no idea that this was so true.
Yeah, wow. I'm surprised to hear that, you know. I did not know that we were murderous Satanists.
Yeah.
Number 27, when I was in college, I realized I really needed a TI-83 calculator for my math class, so I called my mom and asked her to send me one because I didn't have any money. I had to keep borrowing my friends and using Google on my homework until next week I finally got a package in the mail. Phew. It was a lot bigger than I thought it would be, but who cares? I could finally do my work without inconveniencing either others or myself. I opened the package, and there was no calculator. There was a Build-A-Bear Wolf to be exact. My old sweet mates still joke about that freak out, and it's been almost 10 years.
Build-A-Bear wolf.
That is very different from a calculator.
It would have been funny if the wolf was holding a little toy calculator that doesn't
yeah,
work.
yeah, not a working one, but yeah.
No.
Number 28. I once received a handwritten letter from some church congratulating me on the recent birth of my child, along with some religious brochures. I've never had a child. It made me wonder if they go through the newspaper looking for recent births and then try to find the parent's address somehow.
Yeah, like, get your kid crucified. Oh, my God. Get your kid...
Please don't do that.
No, what's the one where they dip them in water and stuff?
Baptized?
Baptized!
Yeah.
That's the word.
Number 29. Okay, well, I'm confused, but okay. Shoes. I wasn't expecting shoes, so I Googled the return address. It was someone that I'd never heard of. Not only was it someone I'd never heard of, but the name on the box was my real last name and not the one I've adopted for work that everyone knows me by. That suggested real stuff was going down. Being involved in sketchier enterprises at the time, I took the souls out, etc., to look for drugs. Nada. Now I was getting freaked out. So I asked a PI friend to look the guy up to see if we could figure out why they would have been sent to me. They had been sent by a 70-year-old sex offender. A few days later, my buddy who lives abroad and sometimes gets specialty products delivered to me hit me up asking, "Did you get the shoes I ordered?"
What the fuck?
Oops.
Yeah. 70-year-old sex offender.
Well, you know, when people hear sex offender, they assume the worst because it could be, but it could also be something like public urination.
That can make you a sex offender?
Yeah, because those laws can be pretty fucky, and like you think like if you like public urination, they used to just give you a ticket, but now you could be registered as a sex offender now.
Wow, it's hard.
It's like I know you haven't watched it yet, but on Better Call Saul in the first season, there was this whole joke about how in the past Jimmy got in trouble for doing something called a Chicago sunroof.
Okay.
And it turned out to be it's like if you, let's say, don't like the person and they have a sunroof, you would climb up on top of their car and poop down into the car. That's a Chicago sunroof. And he did that, and he got arrested for it because he didn't know that the guy's kids were in the car.
Oh, no!
And they wanted to register him as a sex offender, but his brother got him out of that.
Wow.
Because, you know. Those poor kids, right?
Aw.
Number 30. Not me, but Angelina Jolie. When I was around 7, there was something on MTV or somewhere about how she liked to wear nude color lipstick better than other colors. I got a half-used tube of nude lipstick from my mom's makeup box and promptly mailed it to the address she used for fan mail. No note or anything, just a tube of clearly half-used lipstick. To be fair, she probably never opened it or saw it, but sometimes now as an adult, I like to think that an assistant or someone opened it and got weirded out. Also, to be fair, that is probably hardly the weirdest thing Angelina Jolie receives as fan mail.
Oh, yeah. She probably received some.
Well, she's a pretty weird bird herself, so.
Yeah, maybe she accepted some of the weird stuff. Who knows?
She probably, like, made it into a necklace and wore it or something.
Oh, yeah.
She's a strange one. All right, finally, number 31. One time my dad received a black box in the mail about the size of a book. He seemed excited since he wasn't expecting a package. I didn't see him open it, but about half an hour later he was pretty angry with me, and he wouldn't say why. I assumed it was about the package. He must have either been disappointed in the contents or it contained something personal. He didn't talk to me the rest of the day. I ordered an adult diaper sample pack in his name 2 weeks earlier. That is a dick move. I approve.
That was pretty good.
Dick move. All right, out of 31, I'm going to... this was pretty funny. I'm going to say 30 on this one.
Yeah, I'll say 30 as well.
All right, I have a list here from 22words.com. This is another one that I haven't really looked at very much of it, because I just found it yesterday. It is, these hilariously dumb social media posts will make you fear for humanity. I already do, but...
More dumb stuff, yes.
Yeah, bring it on, right?
Bring on the stupid.
You know, hold on just a second. I just realized my phone is sitting here at 12% battery.
Yikes.
So I'm going to go plug it in. I'll be right back. Why don't you entertain the nice people for the 30 seconds this will take me?
Oh shit! I got a vamp. I'm not exactly a good vamper. Shit. Well, for those who are interested, still haven't gotten my new computer yet. Still waiting on that. But when I do, oh my God, you're going to hear about it. I'm going to be all up in everybody's business. And I look forward to that day. And it'll be glorious? I don't know. I'll probably do Twitch stuff and tons of YouTube stuff, etc., etc. Oh, thank God he's back.
Ah, shit. I was actually back for a while. I was gonna let me see if I can just stand here for a while and just listen to you bullshit, and then you'd be like, when's he gonna come back? And I'd be like, I've been back.
Ugh. Yeah.
Alright. Okay, so this first one's a post on Twitter from Omar. It says, are men obligated to pay for everything in a relationship? Obligated. And his friend Jake replies with, boy, I thought you were speaking Spanish.
Habla gated. Yeah.
Thomas here posts, damn, I just hit my head really hard. I think I might have a Caucasian.
Yeah, that happens.
To be fair, that might have been an autocorrect.
Oh, the amount of times that's happened to me?
Yeah.
Too many.
This one is not, however. It says, I lost my 710. Where can I find one? So I realized I lost my car's 710. Where can I buy a spare part of it? It looks like this. Guess what a 710 is?
What's a 710?
It's the oil cap upside down.
Oh! I actually flipped the numbers around in my head.
Yeah.
Like, oh!
Oil, yeah.
Yep.
This one says, my back is killing me. I think I got Arthur write this.
I think that's autocorrect.
Probably, yeah. Probably using voice to text.
Yeah.
It's the same with this one that says, it's like 10 the grease outside. Amazing.
Again, probably same thing.
Wow. 10 the grease.
10 the grease.
That's a lot of the grease.
Yeah.
This one says, this is actually from Snapchat. It says, just realized these little bumps on the steering wheel are in Braille so that blind drivers have no trouble finding the horn to alert other drivers when necessary. Hashtag the more you know.
Wah wah.
Yeah, I don't think it's that.
Nah.
Here's a Twitter post. A chicken seizure salad sounds so good right now.
Just picture this salad just going crazy in front of
or chicken having a seizure.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, in a salad.
Yeah, just...
Don't y'all hate when teachers used to coffin skate your phone?
I've heard people say that.
Wow.
I've heard people say coffin skate.
Yo, I ordered a pizza, and this is on Twitter, and he's tweeting at Domino's. Yo, I ordered a pizza and came with no toppings on it or anything. It's just bread. And Domino's Pizza replies, we're sorry to hear about this. Please let our friends at Domino's UK know this so they can help. And then the original guy says, never mind, open the pizza upside down.
Ah!
Well then.
That's the bottom.
This one says, what goes around comes around. Caramel is a bitch.
Caramel? Oh, what?
I think they mean karma.
Yeah, karma.
But it came out as caramel.
Caramel is a bitch, you know.
Oh, you get stuck between your teeth, you know.
It gets everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Is this an ultrasound picture?
Yeah.
And the reply is, that lasagna looks crisp. And somebody says, that's my daughter.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
That lasagna.
So it's a picture of chicken parmesan, but the person wrote chicken permission.
Chicken permission.
Yeah, chicken permission. I swear someone needs to invent socks for our hands. My hands are always cold.
Yeah, if only they could, like...
Yeah. Well, somebody else said we have something called gloves, and she says, no, stupid, like socks for our hands.
You mean mittens?
Yeah, well, somebody tried, but Somebody, who wants some Xanax, $5 each, hit me up. And they took a picture of what is obviously a bunch of Pez in their hand.
Oh, well, I'll get them good.
Oh, wait. Then somebody replies, these are for people who are sick and need them, not for people to abuse and distribute like some candy.
Ah, I hope they knew their own joke.
I hope so. How do people drown? LMAO. Just drink the water, lol.
I think that's a joke.
I hope so.
That's funny.
I hope it's a joke.
Just drink the water, lol, lol, lol.
All right, I've seen this one. This is bad. Rosetta Stone did not sit on that bus for you gays to be asking for equal rights.
Oh my, how do you unpack
There's
this
a
one?
lot wrong with that. Rosetta
Stone.
Well, you know what? It is true. Rosetta Stone did not sit on that bus.
That is true.
Yeah. I just drunk some inspired milk.
Well, I hope you come up with an idea very
Wow.
quickly.
Yeah. This one says, why can the police never figure out who the murderer was? LMAO. Like, just ask the person who died. Is it really that hard? Yes, actually. It's quite difficult.
Yeah, good. You'll be waiting a while.
I know I'm not the only one who thinks Dwayne Johnson looks like The Rock. Oh, I never noticed it before, but it kind of does.
Yeah, he should also name himself The Rock.
Yeah, or they should maybe be in a movie together.
Yeah.
Imagine that, starring Dwayne Johnson and The Rock.
And The Rock.
Yeah. Got my prom dress. This is what it looks like. And then they link to C:/documents and settings/Dan/my documents/my pictures, and so on like that.
Oh no.
And the person says, fail? I said, not really. You have to copy it and paste it where you would type in a website.
Oh, mamma mia.
Well, she tried.
Well, I don't know.
All right. This is a Snapchat.
Okay.
It's a girl's hand holding several, the incense sticks.
Oh yeah.
And it says, I love the smell of incest.
Gross.
I didn't know that it had a smell that was, anything particular.
Where are those sticks going and into whom?
Somebody's family member. Okay, this is a girl, looks like she's about maybe 11 or 12 years old on Snapchat, and it says, going to Olive Garden.
Aw.
I would imagine it's probably a text-to-speech thing, got auto-corrected there.
Yeah, if depending on the accent.
Did you know that Olive Garden has salad and breadsticks?
Do they?
Why won't my power strip turn on? I have everything plugged in. That's because they plugged the power strip into itself.
Oh, jeez. It's self-reliant.
Yeah. How did Beyonce go #1 in 100 countries when there's only 7? Africa, Europe, Asia, and I can't remember the rest.
Oh, boy.
I don't know what's worse, that they confuse continent and country, or that they can only think of 3.
That's facepalm worthy, though.
That's head desk worthy.
Clunk.
Girls be losing their virginities in middle school, and you try to judge other people. Virginities?
Gross misspelling of virginities?
That's not even a word, though. Like, I can't even blame...
Nope.
I can't blame autocorrect because virginities is not a word.
Virginities? Maybe it's...
Yeah, it's very French. Virginities. Yes, you should get vaccines, and so what if that makes your kid artistic? That doesn't mean he's gay.
What? Oh my god.
Well, I agree with the message. Maybe not the medium, but yes, you should get vaccines. That's where you got to stop. After that, it's all downhill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just bad.
This restaurant got a real nice ambiance, or however you spell it.
Oh. Ambience?
Yeah, but they wrote ambiance.
Beyonce. Well, they
Yeah.
got jamming tunes.
Yeah. I'm not a racist, but, well, anything past that is going to be terrible. I just want to pause. Yeah. All right. You know it's going to be terrible.
Yep.
I'm not a racist, but I think Muslims should go back to Islam if they want to practice Sharia law. Go back to the desert. Actually, it says desert.
Go back to
so
dessert.
what we've learned here is that apparently Muslims are a race, and
Yeah.
they come from a country called Islam.
Well, they've been there the whole time, so that's great.
They want to practice the law of Shania Twain,
Oh yeah.
and they should go back and have some dessert. That's what we've learned.
His opinions
Now, I
don't
mean,
impress me much.
the actual, like, the photo and the whoever the Twitter username is, it's all redacted, but I'm willing to bet it says real Donald Trump under there.
Yeah.
Like, I am not a racist, but I think Muslims should go back to Islam if
Okay.
they want to practice Sharia law. Go back to the desert. Sad. Fake news.
Bigly.
Bigly. Well, he doesn't actually say bigly. That was just...
No,
It's big league.
just the way he said it.
Yeah, it's his accent, you know.
Yeah.
Why don't women ever have to take a DNA test to see if the baby is there? Shaking my hand. Oh, my.
Oh dear.
Oh, wow.
These are the
This is so
problematic
much better than I thought it was going to be.
I mean, there's a couple that are, obvious.
Autocorrects, but still, they're
Autocorrect,
funny,
yeah.
though.
Oh yeah.
Professor Wadi is wearing corduroy pants. Flashback to the 90s.
Corduroy.
Well then.
Corduroy.
And who the hell is Professor Wadi?
How do you spell Wadi?
Waddy.
Oh, Professor Wadi.
Yeah. These Roman numerals about to be good AF.
What?
Guess what they're trying to say, Roman numerals.
Yeah, Roman numerals are
Guess what they're trying to say.
these. I've no idea.
Ramen noodles.
Oh my God.
There's a picture. That's the only way I would have figured it out.
Yeah, because Roman numerals are like, well, that makes sense, but
About to be good as fuck.
yeah.
Ford time piercing my nose. LOL. Like the number 4 and then RD.
Ford
I
time.
think they meant to say third and they just hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
I mean, either that or every time they pierce their nose, their brain leaks out a little more.
Yeah, it's like first, second, third, Ford, Fid.
Oh my god, we've seen this next one!
Huh?
So it says that how to wear earphones, and it shows you how it's better if you put them in upside down and you loop the thing over your earlobe.
Oh, yeah.
And it says, won't the music be upside down?
Remember
Remember that upside down music?
Upside down music.
Yeah!
Wow. It's real.
Okay. Just saying, the Pledge of Allegiance says to the republic for which it stands, not to the Democrat. Enough said.
Because that's what they're going. Oh, my God.
Oh my god.
These are your people.
I ain't claiming this guy. Wow.
That's bad.
My son does not like chicken, oh my god. And then the reply is, he might be veterinarian.
Well, you could twist that to make sense, I guess.
There is a strange logic there, I'll admit.
It varies.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah. Got my hair cut and dyed today. Oh, commas are so important. Yeah.
Dyed is, yeah,
D-I-E-D as well, too.
Yeah.
Why are there drinking fountains so short in Europe? Oh, God, that's a bidet, you idiot.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, what is this, a fountain for ants?
Oh, that's good.
About to eat some cinnamon, oh God, I can't even say this. Some synonym toast crunch. Not cinnamon, but synonym.
So synonym toast
Yeah,
crunch.
it's similar word.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, that works on a few levels, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
It's good and delicious and tasty and scrumptious. All right, I gotta stop.
Ha ha ha.
All right. So somebody's selling a print of Starry Night by Van Gogh for $20, and some moron asks, "Is it an original?"
Yeah, man.
I should mention it's about 5 inches tall, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an original. And then the seller replies with, "I am unsure if you're serious."
That would be an appropriate response.
And if you can get the actual original for $20, I say go for it, but no.
Yeah.
How chicken should be cooked: brown on the outside, pink on the inside. Hashtag medium rare.
Oh no.
That's natural selection right there. I mean,
They're gonna get sick.
wow. Sprayed his colon on me, so he is all I can smell. That's usually what happens when somebody sprays their colon on you.
When they get your colon all over them.
That is all you can smell, yeah. Wow. Watching the Titanic, such a beautiful movie, it always gets me. Makes me want to go on a cruise like that one day.
Oh, well.
God, have you never seen the ending?
Yeah, wait till you get to the end. It's the best part.
Yeah. I think the scariest part of having triplet... Oh, wait, I just thought of something. You know, back when that was on VHS, it was on 2 tapes. What if they, like, just lost the second one?
Oh! Yeah. It's
I think the scariest part of having triplets is being pregnant for 27 months.
Oh, jeez. Come on, man.
Well, then...
It's like they have one, and then they gotta wait another 9 months. Yeah. Oh, here's the second.
Oh, the next one's percolating. The other one's just hanging out playing Xbox.
Xbox, yeah.
Wow, out of... You know, I have no idea how many there were. So
me neither.
Let's give it a... They weren't numbered. Let's give it a letter grade.
I don't know. A lot of these were so... just incredible.
They were really, like, even the ones that, you know, you can understand how that mistake might be made, but then there are the ones that were just like, wow, how does this person remember how to breathe both in and out?
Yes. It's a 2-step process.
A+, man.
Yeah, I give it an A+.
A+. All right, I got this. Okay, I've been waiting to do this next one.
Well, one thing I want to quickly say.
Yeah.
When you were talking about those like autocorrect things, it reminded me. You know what's one thing that really gets me? What? Is when people say write should of instead of should have.
Probably because a lot of people say it that way, like should have.
Yeah, but should have, that's a V.
Because it's the V, yeah, but people hear it as should of, and they're stupid.
But when I see people type that, it's so often.
I have never seen that, but I'm talking to a different set of people than you are, I guess.
Oh, yes. It's aggravating.
I can imagine that would annoy the hell out of me.
Irregardless of that.
Hey, you know, with your current vision problems, you don't have to see that shit for a while.
Yeah, I know, right?
There you go. Always look on the bright side of life.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been wanting to do this one. I actually meant to do this one on List Critics of Payton, but we didn't have time to do it, so.
All right.
It is, and I've read this, and it is amazing. Are you ready for this?
Oh.
30, it's from Tickle. 30 poor souls share their worst experience on Craigslist.
Oh, Craigslist is a dark place to go.
It can be quite a normal place, or it can be very strange.
Well, the strange is quite strange.
Oh, and it is quite strange. Number 1, once I sold a juicer on Craigslist, ended up dropping it off at this dude's house. The next day I see a desk for sale that I want, so I inquire. It's the same dude. Okay, weird coincidence. I go over and the desk isn't the one pictured. There was a piece of crap that he clearly cobbled together from scraps. He offers it to me for free, so I say yes. The next day I get a text from him wanting to know if I would come over for some beers. No thanks. Then the next day I find an ad for rims for my exact year, make, and model of car. Rim size not mentioned, but the car is detailed out. Inquire, same dude. I realized at this point that during the course of casual conversation he was picking up on other things I said I wanted, and in the case of the rims, he knew I wanted rims and what model of car I drove. So he was posting ads specifically for me to respond so I'd come over and hang out. Considering my cell phone was still 2 area codes behind my moving, I decided it was a good time to change my number, the locks on my house, and swap the batteries in my stun gun.
Jeez, man.
A very lonely guy.
Guy's getting a little friendly.
Yeah. He's like, hey man, I know I sold you that desk. You want to come over and play fucking PlayStation with me?
Got some beers,
Oh
man.
man. Number 2, bought a Keurig on Craigslist, used it for a couple of days, started noticing coffee grounds in my cup, ignored it. Prepare yourself for this. Saw a cockroach in my kitchen, and found out it was coming from the Keurig. Took a flashlight to the inside, and it was infested with a nest of cockroaches. It wasn't coffee grounds in my cup.
Oh, no. He was drinking cockroaches.
He was drinking, like, their poop.
Oh,
And
no.
they're, like, bits of them and shit.
Ah,
Fucking gross, huh?
That's, what do you do? Like, you
You throw up several times in rapid succession, and then you burn your house down.
Yes, and salt the earth.
Yeah, salt the earth so nothing can grow again. Number 3, I had an entertainment center advertised and a woman asked to come over to have a look at it. We set up a time, and when the time came, she didn't show up. I texted her a couple hours later, and she replied and asked if it was too late to come by. It was 10 p.m., but I said okay. She said she would be there in 10 minutes, but wasn't there 20 minutes later, and I texted her again. 10 more minutes, she said, and she hadn't shown up by 11 p.m., so I texted her again and said we would have to do it another day. She replied she was just pulling up. So I go to my front door, and sure enough, she's pulling into the driveway, and there are about 4 or 5 other people in the car with her. They all get out and start walking toward the door, and I ask them what they're doing, and the woman says they all want to see the entertainment center. I tell her that only she can come in, and at that point I wasn't even sure I wanted her to come in. She says she needs at least one other person's opinion. I say no. She gets indignant, and I ask her to leave. She says I'm not being a very good Christian. I say I'm fine with that, and I went into my house and locked all the doors. Peeking out the window, one of the dudes who was with her was pissing at the end of my driveway, but then they got in the car and drove away. The whole thing was super bizarre.
What the hell, man?
By the way, each of these has a little GIF along with it, and they have Kevin Spacey from House of Cards doing that thing where he looks at the camera like, really? Like, really?
Okay.
Because, I don't know if you've seen the show, but he doesn't lean on the fourth wall. He demolishes the shit out of the fourth wall.
Yeah, from the ads that I've seen, yeah, he'll break it. And then
He talks directly to the audience.
Yeah, like, here's what's happening right now.
This is what I'm about to do. Number 4, my youngest brother sent me a text one day. He saved up $700 and wanted a computer. I told him I know a guy we can go to, but no, he found a guy on Craigslist with a machine. Says it's like a $1,000 machine for $600, wants me to go with him to check it out. I can't. Schedule's packed. Guy basically says he can do a video call showing the PC working and I can peek inside the guts from the video call, so I do that. It looks good. Very high-end computer, and everything is brand new with boxes for the components. I tell my little bro, who is 18, that it's all good. If he can snatch it, go for it. Well, about 8 p.m., I get a Skype message from the Craigslist seller. I got your brother. I freeze. Blood runs cold, and for a solid 20 seconds that felt like hours, I started running through how I was going to find this guy and murder him with my bare hands for threatening to hurt my baby brother. Finally, he finishes typing his second message. He wanted to meet in Walmart parking lot. We met up, and I got out to shake his hand, and he just fainted. He's sitting in my SUV. He woke up once and just passed right back out.
What?
Wait till you find out why. This is great, dude. I'm a little less paranoid with my brother, so I hold the... I'm sorry, I skipped a little here. So I go out. I decide... wow. Okay, so I go out, and I get out of my car, and I instantly see why my brother basically shit his pants. The dude steps around the SUV and is like 9 feet tall, and was so jacked, I think he could beat up Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
Whoa.
I'm a little less paranoid than my brother, so I hold out my hand for a shake. We do so, and he puts a giant hand on my shoulder and points inside the SUV. I could see my little brother sitting in the far back seat with his knees on his chest like a puppy during a thunderstorm.
Oh.
I chat with the guy. He literally just tried to meet my brother to sell the computer, but he actually fainted in terror. He scooped him up and put him in the back seat to rest. It actually happened. So I opened the door and popped my head, and little bro, basically on the verge of tears, explained the situation to him. He admits that he thought the Craigslist seller was going to beat him up, steal his $800, and possibly touch his bum inappropriately.
Whoa.
I laugh. The seller laughs. I chat with the guy for a bit as my brother was loading the stuff into his car. The guy said he bought computer parts yearly when they were on sale and always sold them for a profit for himself, but at a pretty low cost since he slowly built them over the year. Was actually a really great guy. Said my brother was the first person to ever pass out in fear. I mean, all is well that ends well, but I'm sure it was more scary from my brother's point of view. But getting a message from a guy on Skype, I have your brother, is pretty damn scary, to be honest.
Oh, wow. That's a good story.
Isn't that great?
Oh,
I love it. Number 5. Once I posted an ad trying to give away a dresser for free. My husband made a fake account and then trolled me for almost a week. He kept asking me to smell it and describe the smell and silly things like that. By the time I figured out I was being trolled, he was asking if I could cut the dresser into more manageable pieces so it could fit under his motorcycle. So basically, he was pretending to be weirdos from Craigslist and sending the messages to his wife.
There's an interesting marriage right there.
Yeah. Number 6. I was new to a big city and decided I didn't need my car anymore. I listed my car for sale, a 6-year-old Honda Accord. A normal, well-dressed man comes over to see it after a few phone calls about it. He's in his early 40s and his name is James. He's buying it for his daughter in college. I've always had my guard up when dealing with strangers, but so far James is personable and seems legitimate. He test drives it with me in it. He goes through a thorough inspection. He negotiates the price with me for a while. He asks me to hold the car for 2 days so we can get the money and come pick it up. I agree, a 2-day hold where I won't sell it to someone else. 2 days later, James follows up and we meet again, midday, normal neighborhood in an urban city. James and I test drive the car one more time. He gives me a Chase Bank cashier's check, which I said I was fine with. I tell him he needs to come into the bank with me to cash the check and to get the title notarized over to him. This is when he starts acting nervous. We're pulled over on the side of my street discussing this. James in the driver's seat and me as in the passenger. I figured if he was going to steal my car, he would have done so 2 days earlier. Now I'm fairly comfortable with him. He asks me to do one more car inspection with him, and then we go to the bank. I agree, but I'm very set on doing the transaction at a bank. As we both get out to inspect the car, again he jumps back in and floors it as I try to get back in with him. He pulls away quicker than I can react, passenger door wide open. I tried to run after him and then realized I'm not as fast as a car. There are bystanders and I hysterically ask for someone to call 911. One guy does. I had my phone, but my adrenaline was through the roof and I didn't even think about it. I'm on a stranger's phone with dispatch. An undercover cop car with 2 officers pulls out in an alley 5 feet from me. I wave them down and hysterically explain my story. They tell me to hop in the back of their car, which I do. I implore them to hurry. We can catch the guy he just drove off. I explain the car and plate and everything. They assure me that they will not go on a high-speed chase with me in the car, but will radio it in to all surrounding officers, which they do. The guy gets away and the officers drop me off at the police station to file a report. I file an insurance claim too, and I'm so mad at myself for letting this happen. I suppose it's better than if I was in the car with the guy, but I'm still mad. Of course, James's burner cell phone doesn't work as soon as he had left. I go through insurance and their protocols to ensure I'm not committing fraud for about 3 months. The week I'm supposed to get paid, I get a call from the police. They found my car 3 states over. James is working with a partner in crime, don't remember his name. Let's call him Josh. James stole the car, gave it to Josh to sell so it wasn't traceable back to James, and Josh would have plausible deniability if he was ever questioned. Well, Josh sold my car to an average Joe who actually did have a daughter in college who needed a car. The daughter tried to register her new car at the DMV and it came up as stolen, so the cops arranged for me, the average Joe, and Josh, whose contact info average Joe had, as he paid him with a check and there was a paper trail, to meet with them at the station for a little chat. Josh denies any involvement with James, but agrees to give us back the money that average Joe paid him so he can just leave without any problems. We all agree to this. Average Joe and I say his daughter can keep the car and I take the money from Josh. So eventually I got paid for my car, but the experience sucked balls and was very stressful. Since then I have bought and sold cars on Craigslist. I have not bought and sold cars on Craigslist again, so no lesson was learned, except now except now I take a photo of the driver's license of all people I interact with at the start.
Wow, that was needlessly complicated.
Yeah, wow.
Jeez Louise.
All right. This next one's pretty interesting. Number 7, I got Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PS3, but then got a PS4 about 2 weeks later since I got surprised by an extra large paycheck and had money to blow. So I decided to sell my PS3 copy for $40. As soon as I put the listing up, I could legit get a text not even 10 minutes later for a guy that wanted to meet in half an hour to pick it up. I wasn't busy, so I decided to do it. The guy was about 10 years older than me, incredibly skinny to the point of ribs practically showing through his shirt, and had a tick. Anyway, I make the transaction and think that's the end of it. Nope. On my drive home, texted me wanting me to come over to his place and play it with him. I politely decline. He then goes on to text me a novel about his life story and his time serving in Afghanistan and his PTSD and depression. I felt bad for him, but still didn't want to go hang out with a stranger I met on Craigslist. He then starts asking me when I'd be free to hang out and tries to make plans. I explain politely that I'm not really looking to make friends through Craigslist or anything. He tries calling me. I turn off my phone and go to sleep. I turn it back on in the morning, and I've got 20-something missed calls and over 60 text messages from him, getting increasingly more angry, violent, and threatening as they went along. I installed an app to block his number, and that solved it, but for a good week or two I was afraid of accidentally running into him again.
Whoa.
It's like the Cable Guy, man.
Wow, it's been ages since I've seen that movie.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good, actually. A lot of people were kind of annoyed with that movie, but I thought it was funny.
From what I remember, I was kind of like, yeah, it was all right.
I mean, it wasn't the most amazing movie, but it was entertaining.
But
Number
this
8.
guy, whew.
Yeah. This isn't a horror story at all, but the guy I sold a TV to a couple of years ago pretty much assumed that I was going to murder him and his boyfriend. I got the impression that he thought I was going to scam him, so I offered to drop the TV off at his house and he could just PayPal me the money. He didn't want me knowing where he lived, so I offered to have him pick it up after my daughter's soccer game. Wouldn't do that either because he said I'd have too many of my people. So I then switched it to the parking lot of my town's grocery store at 3:30 p.m. Nope. He finally agreed to meet me in front of the town's police station with his boyfriend and 2 other guys only after he called an officer outside to witness the transaction. The cop told the guy he probably shouldn't be buying stuff on Craigslist anymore. The funny thing was that he brought so many people that the TV wouldn't fit in his car.
Huh?
That's good.
That is good. I like that.
Number 9. This is a long one. Was moving out of an apartment that had washer and dryer hookups into one that did not. So I sold my washer and dryer. Ended up having separate buyers. Guy who bought the dryer was great. He was getting it for his daughter who was going to college. I helped him load it onto the truck. He gave me the payment, and I never heard from him again. What are you doing?
Nothing?
Doing something.
No, just hell on my bed, hanging out.
His noise is coming from there, but all right. The guy who brought the washer was a different story. I got a text from him asking if it was still available. We haggled the price, all normal stuff. We set a time, and I waited for him to get there. Now, I only had 1 leak left in the apartment, so I didn't care too much about random people coming into my home like I normally would. Pretty much all of my stuff was moved into my new place, but the internet wasn't turned on yet, so I was still just sleeping on an air mattress in the old one for the time being. He ended up being a few hours late and showed up in a truck that was used for transporting large glass panes. He had like 5 people with him all crammed into the front bench seat of the truck. They loaded onto the truck while leaning out at a 30-degree angle against the glass pane rack, or whatever you call it. He tried to haggle it down to a lower price, but I didn't budge. He left, and I thought it was done. Later that night, I started getting texts from him about how it doesn't work and he wants his money back. I told him, as it was written in the post, that it was sold as is and was working. I assume he damaged it in some way. He rigged it onto the truck. Well, a day after, he starts calling me and cussing me out, texting death threats, and I have other random numbers calling me doing the same. 2 nights after I sold it, I woke up at 3 a.m. with people banging on my door yelling. Luckily, I lived on the 2nd floor with no easy access to the windows. I sat there for about 15 minutes while they continued to yell through the door. The next day, I moved the rest of my stuff into my new apartment and never went back other than to turn the keys in. I still got calls and texts from him on random numbers for 2 months over a $150 washer. I don't sell stuff on Craigslist anymore.
I wonder if we're going to be hearing that a lot. I don't sell anything on Craigslist anymore.
I imagine a lot of these people have probably had it, you know?
Yeah, like straw that broke camel's back, like this. Wow.
Number 10, the closest I have is when I was selling a 97 Corvette on Craigslist in 2012. It was in good shape and mechanically sound. I knew what the car was worth, and it had it priced fairly at $15K. There is no way it's worth $15K.
What? A 97?
I started getting hits from a guy who lives about an hour away with the car, and eventually he wants to see it. So we meet halfway at a Walmart parking lot. He leaves me the keys to his Denali and takes it for a spin with his wife. Still manages to do a big burnout on his way out, which, whatever, that's what those cars are for. He comes back and asks if I would take $14,500. I say sure. We plan to meet there again next week. I say I want a cashier's check, and he should bring his license so we can do a bill of sale, as I would be pulling the plates. Fast forward the next weekend, we meet up again. He says he wants another test drive before he pulls the trigger. I say go for it when he hands me the keys to his Denali, and off he goes again. 20 minutes later, he rolls back up and says, I don't know, something feels off. Can't put his finger on it. I ask what it could be. He says he just doesn't quite know. I ask him what he wants to do, and he offers me $12K. At that point, I laughed at him and throw him his keys and say, let me know if you change your mind. I hop back in my car. Then he stops me and says, no, I do want it. What about 13? At this point, I realize he either bought all the money or he isn't going to buy it. So I say, the 14.5 we agreed on, or the deal's off. He pulls out a cashier's check for $12K and then gives me the other $2,500 in cash. So he had planned for such an attack. Oh well, turned out fine for me. It just bothers me that people are always up for trying to weasel you out of money.
Well,
I mean, it's called haggling. You're supposed to do that.
yeah, it's just, I guess, a weird way of haggling.
Yeah. It is kind of weird. Number 11, I agreed to meet with this guy once to buy an Atari Jaguar. I'm a collector.
Yeah.
I get to his house at the agreed time, and there's no one there. I sent him an email while hanging out in my car, and he says he had to go get groceries, but will be back in a few minutes. This is good. I decided to sit in the hood of my car and wait. His neighbors walk outside to yell at me, "Hey man, are you waiting on Jamal for games or drugs?"
Ooh.
Just games. At this point, I kind of wanted to book it out of there, but he pulled up to the house right as I fumbled with my keys. And the guy was a little creepy and was a complete dick to his daughter. His wife seemed nice enough, though. Got the Atari and got the heck out of there.
Oh, so just a weird man.
Yeah. You possibly was also a drug dealer.
Yeah. Games or drugs?
Yep. Number 12, not so much a horror story as just weird. I went to look at a couch in a nice residential neighborhood. The poster was a doctor at a local hospital who said she had a shift, but I could work out a time with her husband who would be home. So I called him. He had a beautiful accent and was clearly fluent, but English was not his strong suit. Still, we worked out a time. When I went over, he was very nice. A bit of communication gap, but that's fine. I wish I spoke 1.5 languages, you know. The couch was actually a huge multi-piece turquoise brocade thing. Much too big for my tiny space and too loud for my eyeballs to bear every day. Beautiful in its own way, but not for me. So I thanked him for his time, told him it was too big for my studio, and his response was to confidently reach around and squeeze my ass.
Oh.
It was the way he did it that was weird. It didn't even seem sexual or anything. It was just like he was testing a melon for ripeness. I looked at him like he was nuts. He looked back at me like the situation was perfectly normal, and I turned and walked out the door without a word. I no longer go to Craigslist meets on my own.
Ay, ay, ay.
He's just like, okay, you do not want the couch? I squeeze your ass.
Like, this feels like someone who doesn't want this couch.
Like,
you are correct.
Maybe he wanted to see if the ass and the couch were a good mix, you know?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
No, you want this couch. This is good ass for couch.
Number 13, I thought I was bisexual for the longest time because I always had an interest in guys since high school. Not in any other way I wanted to try giving head. Well, sure enough, I took to old Craigslist to find a suitor for my request. Wow. It's like, hey, I want to try giving a guy head. Get like
100 replies
million
later.
text messages later, right?
Yeah.
Well, sure enough. Oh, I said that already. Now, it wasn't really anything but a simple transaction, just a blow-and-go type arrangement, but I realized as soon as I put it in my mouth that I was without a doubt 100% undeniably straight. The thing is, he didn't take too kindly to me not finishing him, and he said that he had put the child locks in the door and I wasn't allowed to leave. Thankfully, either he forgot or was bluffing, but I tried the door and booked it into someone else's backyard.
Good God.
I mean, that's asking for trouble, man. Just like, hey, I'm going to give you, like, oral sex for free.
A blowjay.
Yeah. And then you're like, you know what? I'm not so much into this. And this guy's like, no, you're into it.
Yeah, at that moment, you're just, like, everything sinks.
That guy is lucky that he got out of there.
Like, this is how I die.
Relatively intact, you know?
Yeah.
Number 14, I was in the market for a steering wheel for playing racing games on my PC. They were too expensive for me to buy new, so I went to Craigslist. It didn't take too long before I found an ad listing the product that I wanted at a very fair price. I contacted the seller and arranged a meeting. When I got to the apartment, there were bags of trash piled up outside the door in the hallway, and I could hear yelling inside. I prayed and heard the wrong address, and I knocked on the door. A very young child opened the door. Is redacted there? I'm here about the Craigslist ad. The kid says nothing but walks away from the door, leaving it open. I can't see anyone else inside, but there are also bags of trash piled up just inside the door. Stepping inside, I called out to the seller. An older female voice erupts from the side room. Redacted! Get the door!
Oh, God.
The door opens, and out steps a young man in his pajamas. You redacted, I ask? He nods and walks me to his trashed room. I have to shuffle through clothing and belongings on the floor to reach the stained office chair whose fabric pattern matches nothing in the room. After testing it, I told him I'd take the unit. He surprised me when he pulled the original box out of the closet and packaged everything up like it was brand new. That surprises you? They're clearly hoarders.
Yeah, wow, that's terrible,
The
man.
coup de grace to the entire exchange was the argument between him and his mother over who was going to keep the money as I was leaving.
Oh,
Good
they can
Lord.
deal with their problems. I'm out of here with my wheel.
Yeah. Wow. That's something
Wow.
else, all right. You ever bought anything on Craigslist?
No, but I have with Kijiji.
What the hell is Kijiji?
Oh, maybe that's just a Canadian thing?
Yeah, it's Canadian Craigslist?
Maybe it's, you meet up with somebody somewhere.
I
exchange
actually
goods.
bought my first Xbox 360 on Craigslist.
Was that a regular experience?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to meet anybody. It was like an eBay thing.
First thing I ever bought on, Kijiji, Craigslist, whatever, was BioShock Infinite, actually.
Oh, there you go.
And yeah, I got it for $20.
Nice.
PS3.
Nice.
But I had to go into the guy's home, and when I got there, all the doors were always open. So
Okay.
it was a bit strange, but it was a hot day, so
Well, maybe they didn't
let
have
the air
conditioning or
through.
something. Yeah.
And
All right.
there were other people there, so it was pretty
Yeah.
normal, just kind of weird.
At least if you had to make a fast escape, the doors were open.
Yeah, like just pew.
Number 15 was selling a 70s Buick for $1,500. I had a few calls, but no one's super interested. Then I had a kid, maybe 21, call and said he really wanted the car. I told him $1,500, but I was willing to talk about it. He said, okay, I'll see you at 7 p.m. in this parking lot. He isn't there when I show up, and I wait for about 30 minutes. Finally, I'm about to leave, and he rolls up in a Caprice Classic with giant rims on it. The driver gets out, 2 girls get out the back, and the kid buying the car gets out the front. He opens the car, pops the hood, starts it, checks it all out. He takes it on a quick drive while I'm standing with the 2 girls and the driver. He comes back, hops out of the car, and waves me over. I really want this, man. This is awesome. Okay, I would like $1,500, but what are you willing to pay? I was only able to scrape together $1,300, but I got a good deal for you. Give it to me for $1,250, and you can bang her, pointing to the skanky brunette. Or let's do this for $1,000, and you can have them both.
Oh, fuck.
I think I'll take the $1,300, thanks though. He actually gave me $1,300 in cash, and $155 of it was in ones.
What the? Oh my god. Okay, he's got some ones. You know what that means.
Well, I'm imagining Jesse Pinkman in my head. That's the
Yeah.
like, all right, bitch, for $1,000 you can bang them both.
What do they get out of it?
They get dick, I guess. Don't know.
That just feels so greasy.
God. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Number 16. My husband found a stray kitten and brought him home, but he didn't end up getting along with the other 2 cats we have already. I put him on Craigslist, and this young woman wants to come by and get him. She came over by herself and had apparently zero qualms about just walking in the front door without knocking. She was suddenly there in the living room, scared the absolute crap out of us. She did take the kitten, though.
Jeez, just walk in, why don't
That's
you?
slightly unsettling.
Yeah.
Number 17, in 2012, I was trying to sell some video games on Craigslist, and I got plenty of normal emails inquiring about the condition of the games and stuff. Then I got an email that says, hey, smiley face, and there's a very unexpected picture attached to it. You could probably guess what that picture was. The body of the email was, like what you see, I'd love to meet up. 30 seconds later, I get another email that says, please delete, I'm sorry, that was for someone else. Followed by, please just delete it and pretend this never happened. I didn't reply to any of the emails, just blocked him immediately. My thought was he was probably browsing around on 2 different tabs and replied to mine on accident.
Oh no. Oh.
Well, I mean, if it was a guy just begging, I'd be like, don't worry, bro, I got you. Dick pic deleted. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
Don't let the guy sit there shitting himself.
Yeah, but I guess maybe if you respond, then they might be like, oh, thanks, and then give you their life story.
Yeah, but did you like what you saw?
So what do you think?
Number 18, I sold an air conditioner on Craigslist. I listed it for $60, but the guy let the guy talk me down to $40. We meet in the parking lot I designated as a meeting space, and he hands me a wad of $1 bills and starts putting the AC in his car. I managed to start up the mess as he's getting to his car to leave. He only handed me $27. I call him out, and he kept saying things like, that's all I have. You don't want me to drive all the way out here for nothing. Just guilt-tripping me into letting him go. I had to stand behind his car so he couldn't back out until he gave me the rest of the cash. The kicker is the car he was driving was a newer Model 5 Series BMW.
Jeez. Well, I guess we know
But
where
he
all
wants
his
to
money
fuck,
went.
yeah, nickel and dimes you to death for I mean, come on, you can afford a BMW, you can't go to Walmart for an air conditioner?
Right?
Seriously. Or Kajuju, whatever the fuck you got.
Kajuju.
What is it? Did I say it wrong?
It's Kijiji.
Kijiji?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Number 9, I guess that's not that much weirder than Craigslist.
Yeah, who's Craig?
Number 19, our roommate subleased his room to a guy from Craigslist without telling us. Wow. The three of us in the house were all around 22 years old. The new guy was 36, unemployed, socially awkward, and a pothead. He would blare Metallica all day and just stay in the house, only leaving at odd hours. Really sketchy. Then one day my roommate noticed his guitar was missing. And then the other guitar was missing. We confronted him. After about 20 minutes of bullshit excuses, he admitted he pawned them for the power bill so he wouldn't have rent for us. And he wouldn't have rent for us. Oh. We called the police so we could report the stolen guitars, since you need to have a report to get anything from a pawn shop back. It turns out he already had a warrant out for his arrest for the same shit a town over. Anyway, the cops confronted him in our house when he was frantically trying to get all his stuff packed. He was coming down the stairs with all his luggage when the cops asked him to step outside. Right before he went outside to talk to the cops, he said, "Don't take any of my shit." That's ironic. Either way, he was arrested and we put his stuff out on the curb.
Yeah.
Number 20, my parents gave away an old couch for free to a woman who lived on the 4th floor of an apartment building. She took it from them on one condition. She didn't want to carry it up the stairs, so she told my parents that she would pay them to bring it up for her. Being both a little strapped for money and just generally nice people, they agreed. They bring up the couch while the woman watched and then asked for their payment. She asked them, "Do you like roosters?" Instead of giving them money, she handed them probably the creepiest carved wooden rooster I've ever seen. The thing looked like the abyss gazing back at you. Then she ran back inside. The whole situation was so ridiculous that they weren't even particularly pissed, and it's still in our house 13 years later.
Do you like roosters?
Do you want to see my cock? Number 21. In college, I was doing a project that involved horns from animals like deer and cows. And deer don't have horns, but okay. And yeah. I found a website with contact info for a guy about 4 hours away from me that sold them at a reasonable price. I called him regarding shipping, but he told me in an incredibly thick Indian accent that since I was pretty close, he would just let me drive up and pick out the exact ones I wanted. So I made the 4-hour trek up to his house by myself like a dumbass, and this guy and his wife take me to their basement and show me shelves upon shelves of different types of antlers and horns and such. The guy is just standing over me the whole time, literally breathing down my neck until I picked up the ones I wanted. I was super creeped out at this point, so I tried to hightail it out of there, but as I was leaving, the wife stopped me and said she was just finishing making dinner and that I should stay and eat with them. I felt a little bad saying no, and I was absolutely starving, so I agreed to stay. And I had an incredibly uncomfortable meal with this guy who was just staring at me the whole time, his wife and her mother.
Was the food good?
He doesn't go into detail about that. He probably barely tasted. He's just like thinking, chew, swallow, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, stay with all my limbs intact.
Yeah. That reminds me, I did the selling vacuum cleaner thing once, and, the Kirby vacuums.
Oh,
and,
okay.
I sold one to this guy in Wurtsboro, New York, and I knew this was a sale because this guy was rich as fuck. It was a fucking mansion,
Mm.
And, like, him and his wife are, they're like the stereotypical old white rich people.
Oh, okay. Very, pomp and circumstance?
No, just very, like, I'm showing them the thing, and, and then the wife, like, you're supposed to, like, show it to them for, like, an hour and a half. It's, like, 10 minutes into the thing. The wife goes, "Oh, can we get one?"
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "Yeah, I'll cha-ching,
Yeah.
Guy whips out his fucking credit card, and that was that, And then he says, "Do you want to see my goldfish?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Okay.
And he brings me into his basement, where now I'm thinking maybe I should have said no.
You're in his basement.
I'm in his basement, and he has, like, this fucking huge pit dug in his basement filled with water with the biggest goddamn goldfish I have ever seen swimming around in it.
How big can a goldfish get?
Apparently, they get as big as they can and as their environment. Like, they stay small in little bowls because you keep them in a little bowl.
But how big was the goldfish?
They were like a foot long, dude.
What?
They were. I'm talking like they looked like, like Magikarp. They were huge. It was
Maybe
crazy.
he's trying to spawn a Gyarados.
I don't know what he was trying to do, but he bred them or something. That was his hobby.
Holy smoke! You could eat that
It was
size.
actually pretty cool to see this guy's goldfish, but going down into the basement was kind of scary at first.
Yeah, it's like you turn around, the wife has a rolling pin. Blonk!
Yeah, I know, right? You go near my goldfish, will you? Good Lord. Number 22, I was selling a used washer and dryer on Craigslist after the house I bought already had a washer and dryer. So selling the old ones I brought from my apartment and had them for $100 each, which was a steal for the make and model of each with just a single year of use. I sent additional photos for one buyer, and we agreed on $90 each if he bought both. He shows up in his truck, and I'm foolish enough to help him load it in the back of his truck before getting paid. The moment he closed the tailgate of his truck, "Hey man, will you take $70 each?" I told him we already agreed on a price, but he got angry with me for holding him to it and saying he already loaded them and did not want to unload them. I opened his tailgate, which made him begin to shout at me to not touch his truck. I ignored him and began undoing the ratchet straps before he pulled out the full $180 in cash, paid me, and drove off shouting at me in front of my neighbors.
Well, at least he didn't just drive off.
Yeah, I guess, at that point, you probably saw his license plate and everything, so...
Yeah, but still, people are assholes.
That's true. People are dicks. Number 23, I have a female friend who responded to an ad about a dresser. The guy offered to knock the price down from $50 to $10 if she'd have sex with him. She said no. There's some weird people out there.
Sex for $40?
Yeah, well, you get what you pay for, huh?
Yeah.
Number 24, found an ad looking for, in a nutshell, compensated verbal abuse. I answered with caution/interest, and that's exactly what it turned out to be. No sex, we've never met, and it's not even too creepy anymore. I am this gentleman once or twice a week, insult him exquisitely, and demand he buy me this or that and send a link. I set up a P.O. box and my choice of clothes/shoes/perfume/makeup/lingerie, whatever. Within reason, I know what he does for a living, and I'm not even remotely breaking him, and it shows up. I actually like the fella. After he's finished, we chat about random shit. Thankfully, it doesn't ruin my persona, and I don't feel bad for only wailing insults upon him. Kind of weird ongoing encounter for the past several months.
What the fuck? That's weird.
It's kind of like the dominatrix thing, you know?
Yeah, but insults only.
Well, that's most of what dominatrixes do, is they tie you down and tell you you're a dickhead.
But that's like the whole show. This is just insults.
Or maybe he can't afford the whole show.
Oh, maybe.
Number 25, my roommate got a young cat from Craigslist. Now, okay, this person, who says young cat? Say kitten. What the hell's wrong with you?
Maybe it's like a year old? I don't know.
It seemed normal at first, but a week after having it, the cat has eaten maybe 2 bites of food. We thought maybe she's still adjusting. She slept constantly. I know cats sleep 18-ish hours a day, but this was all day and night. By the end of the second week, we knew something was seriously wrong, so she texted the seller, who insisted she's healthy and our problem. All right, I just got to say, you wait that long, and then the person you call is the seller, not a vet?
Yeah, like, it's your problem now.
We then woke up at 3 a.m. because the cat is staggering around and moaning one night. We rushed her to the emergency clinic, and they said she needed a $2,000 blood transfusion. She flatlined before my roommate could decide what to do. Vet bill was over $600 for the vet to give the cat oxygen for 15 minutes and then tell us she died. Texted the old owner she died, and we get "oh" as a response.
Oh.
Learned our lesson. No more Craigslist cats. Okay, maybe learn your lesson when you first notice that the cat is not eating and is sleeping too much, and take it to the vet then.
That's so sad. That's a really sad
don't you
story.
think that could have turned out okay if they took the cat to the vet as soon as they realized it was sick?
Oh.
Instead of waiting a week. I'm sorry, that's not the seller's problem. The buyer's an asshole on that one.
The buyer's an asshole. The seller's an asshole.
Well, yeah. Yeah, they're both assholes, I guess. Number 26, I love vintage and antique furniture, so when I moved into my first apartment and didn't have much money, I used Craigslist/Gumtree a lot. I don't know what Gumtree is, but...
Gumtree?
Yeah. I found this amazing vintage wooden trunk advertised and arranged to pick it up. On the phone, the seller sounded like a normal elderly lady, but I went with a friend to help carry it into my car. Turn up at her house and things appear quite normal. She's in her 60s and quite middle class and appears quite respectable. She shows me the trunk and we agree on a price and then offers to show me other furniture she has for sale in another room. I agree, so me and my friend walk into the room and it's crazy. It's a treasure trove of bizarre junk. There are taxidermied animals everywhere, like stuffed kittens wearing outfits in these little globes, just general weird shit. The lady then explains that she's selling it all for an older gentleman who doesn't know how to use the internet, explained that she's been widowed for 20 years and how he is her new friend. That was in quotes, by the way. She then starts going into extremely graphic detail on their sex life. At first, my friend and I just politely nod during her rambling, but then she starts to describe some really graphic stuff and offers to show us her toy collection.
What the fuck?
This whole bitch is thirsty as fuck!
No kidding, man.
At this point, I just kind of picked up the trunk and ran out of there. All I could think on the way home was that it must have been some sort of hidden camera prank.
Yeah, like, no, I don't want to see your toy. See you later. Bye.
The fucking Fousey tube drops out of the seal. It's just a prank, bro!
Oh, jeez.
Number 27. I bought an iPhone from a young, handsome Asian guy on a motorcycle who brought it to my house and thanked me for not being a Craigslist flake. Shortly after he left, I received an email inviting me to attend church with him. I did not respond.
Take me to church. Oh, wow.
Weird. Number 28. Sold a 3D printer for $800. Was worth $1,300 brand new, so a significant savings. Got a message the next day saying they wanted to look at it, but are an hour and a half away, so we scheduled for the evening. 2 guys show up, check it out, test it. They offer me $600. I laugh in their faces and say I know what it's worth. You guys drove all the way here and try to haggle me down even further. $800 or enjoy your drive home empty-handed. I got $800 for it.
Nice. Stick to your guns.
I just got to say, though, that is hardly list-worthy. Nothing weird happened. Nobody died. There wasn't any, sex toys involved. I'm sorry, that one wasn't very good.
Yeah, that'd be a good starter.
It's not like the guy tried to run off with the 3D printer or something, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Number 29, not Craigslist, but related. I had just started a relationship with a friend and had stayed over. She got some mail delivered to her house, but it did not belong to her. I guess it had a phone number on it. I said I should call to get it to the person, called, and it was a dude, and talking to him, it was weird. Wow, this guy can't write for shit. And it was weird. It seemed like he really wanted to know where the package had been delivered, i.e. her address. I was concerned, so we made plans to meet at a local bookstore that we wanted to meet him. I went acting as her husband, and when we got there, the gentleman was polite, but really wanted to know where it was delivered. He didn't say, obviously, but I told her to watch herself for a while to make sure he didn't magically appear near her home.
Yeah, that's pretty sketchy when someone's that adamant about what's the address.
But really, where did it go? I need to know for reasons.
I must know.
All right, last one, number 30. This one was weird good, not weird bad. When I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, I inherited a pair of chinchillas, which were her pets that she summarily abandoned upon the end of our relationship. I put a post on Craigslist advertising them for sale for $250 for the pair with everything they came with, including a giant cage and all their supplies. I did this not because I needed the money, but rather because I didn't want one of those people who picks up every little free item they could find to swing out and get them. A woman calls me and asks me if she can swing out and look at them. Her son is dying for a chinchilla. So they came out and the kid instantly fell in love with them. He picked them right up. They're still kind of skittish, but we were religious about holding them. And he proceeded to tell me all about chinchillas as if I had never seen them before. Gotta love kids. So she hands me the money, and I walk over to the kid and say, hey, man, tell you what, you take the money and spend it on toys for the chinchillas, and then I hand him back his mom's money. I didn't need the money, and seeing the chinchillas go to a home where they would be played with as opposed to living in my spare room alone was more than I was looking for. Yeah, well, that's nice.
That's just a nice story.
Yeah. Like I said, nobody died. There was no, creepy goldfish.
Creepy goldfish.
Yeah, the guy explained to me that essentially goldfish, there's no upper limit to how big they can get.
Oh man, put a goldfish in a lake or something like that, or
I just looked it up, and somebody caught a goldfish measured at 5 pounds.
A goldfish, 5 pounds.
Yeah,
dude.
And it was a pet goldfish that was released into a lake, and it just kept growing.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So a lot of people, but there are, that's the heaviest one ever caught fishing. I mean, there are bigger goldfish than that.
Like, what was the biggest goldfish ever known?
Well, I'm over here at goldfisho.com and
Goldfisho?
goldfisho. But it's not really loading too well. Oh, here it goes. Good Lord, that thing's huge. Carp, there are carp, of course. Carp can grow to be 16 to 30 inches in length and anywhere between 5 and 30 pounds in weight.
30 pounds!
Most people do not know is that carp, like many other fish species, can grow indefinitely or at least until they die, so it only makes sense that goldfish have the ability to grow long and heavy as well.
Incredible. I had no idea. I always pictured them as little things.
Little tiny, little itty-bitty things, right? Told you, man, Magikarp's fucking real.
Yes, and it really does. It can become a Gyarados.
Well, I don't know about all that, but I've never seen a goldfish that was a giant blue sea serpent. You know? That flies.
Whee!
Out of 30, I'm going to give this one a 23.
I'd give it a 25.
25. Okay.
A lot of those are good stories.
I have a video gaming list here that I think you're going to appreciate.
Dude, finally! No, that's okay.
Okay, this is from ScreenRant.com. It is 15 classic Nintendo games that had to be censored.
I wonder. And any that to come to mind?
I could think of games that didn't come out here from Nintendo, but one that I remember was that there was a thing in Super Mario Kart where Bowser made like a semi-obscene gesture. Oh no, it was Super Mario RPG.
Oh, like
his victory thing was like, you know, where you put like one arm over the other and put your fist up.
Oh, yeah,
like the up yours.
Yeah, that's it.
In the Japanese version, that's what he did.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right, well, number 15 is from Super Mario Kart.
Oh,
I know about this. Apparently, the victory animation for Peach originally had her drinking champagne and getting, like, red in the face.
Aww.
Yeah. In the version we got, she just tosses the bottle up in the air.
Yeah, I kind of liked it because I was like, ooh, look at all those frames.
Number 24, Chrono Trigger. Well, this isn't a Nintendo game. I guess they're kind of being loose with that, but the drinking contest was censored into a soup-eating contest.
Yeah, and it does look more like soup than drink because they're like big bowls, right?
Well, yeah, but it was supposed to be a drinking contest, and also you pour soda on a guy's grave.
Oh yeah.
That was obviously not going to be soda.
And like pubs become cafes.
Like Final Fantasy VI had cafes all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 13 from Super Mario World. Okay, I don't even know if this was technically censorship or not, but in the Japanese version, Yoshi could eat the dolphins, and in the American version, he can't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Your tongue just goes through them, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's just because accidentally eating them can make the stage harder, or if they just thought, well, that's fucked up, or
because they're friends.
Yeah, I always thought it was because they were friendly creatures. That's why you couldn't eat them, because they weren't technically enemies.
Yeah.
You can eat the dolphins in the Japanese version.
Cool.
Number 12, Paper Mario. Actually, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. You know Vivian?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Originally, she was supposed to be transgendered, and the two other Shadow Sisters would constantly be referring to her as a dude to fuck with her.
Oh, why didn't we get that, I wonder?
Because that's kind of really way meaner, like that's really mean. So they changed it to they just were calling her ugly.
Oh, because
remember how they would always go on about how ugly Vivian was supposed to be, even though they were just blobs of paper anyway.
Man, that was such a good game.
Thousand Year Door was fantastic. I mean, all of the Paper Mario games were great, but Thousand Year Door was the best one.
Oh, yeah.
Number 11, Earthbound, Ness's naked ass. That's...
Yeah.
Changed it to pajamas. I mean...
Yep.
I don't even think they really even needed to fucking censor that, because it was cartoonish, doofy. It wasn't sexual or anything.
But back then, God forbid.
Yeah. Number 10, Punch-Out. Vodka Drunkensky.
The original, yeah.
They changed it to Soda Popinski.
And then that one kind of stuck.
Like soda instead of beer.
I kind of like the Soda Popinski. It's like more cartoony and fun.
But there was also the line where he says, "I can't drive." And it's like,
yeah,
now it makes sense.
Like when I first played it, it didn't make sense at all.
Number 9, Final Fight got censored pretty much, not just on Nintendo, but on most but Nintendo took out the female enemies and replaced them with men. Yeah.
Sega wasn't afraid of that.
Sega just covered them up more.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Number 8, Contra. This is Contra in Europe. There's no aliens or humans. It's all robots.
Probotector.
Yeah, Probotector. Yeah. Number 7, Fire Emblem Awakening is a recent example. Huh. I really thought this was okay. There was a DLC called the Summer Scramble, where there was a level that took place on the beach, and all the characters were in like bathing suits and shit.
Cool.
And there's this one character, Tharia, and there's a shot of her from behind, and for the American version, they put a towel over her butt.
Okay.
But when she's wearing her regular clothes, her butt is pretty on display, so I don't know why they bothered.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Maybe in the Japanese it was just too much.
It's not like it was like a tiny little G-string or nothing. It's just a normal fucking bikini.
I don't know.
Here's one that not a lot of people know about, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now, there's actually a lot of censorship in this game.
Was it the blood?
Here's the thing. There's several versions of it. And, the blood was changed from red to green in the later versions.
Mm-hmm.
But the really interesting thing was the music was censored, and a lot of people don't know this.
Oh, yeah, okay, I remember now.
The music in the Fire Temple contained an Islamic chant in it, and
yes.
I guess some people thought that might, upset Muslims for, I guess trivializing it or whatever. What's funny is that I knew of several people back then who were huge into Zelda who were Muslims who were from Kuwait who actually thought that was really fucking cool.
Right? It's like, hey...
I just heard the chanting and I thought it was just some, ambiance, but they told me that's like, Muslim prayer in there, and I'm like, oh, does that bother you? And they're like, no, it's fucking awesome.
But there's going to be... All it takes is one, right?
Yeah, you're right. Number 5, Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah. This
is full of it, but the one thing that they're pointing out is the female enemy sprites being edited for nudity.
I thought the big one would be the leap of faith, so to speak.
Yeah, that's another one. Although you could argue that was more of a translation thing than a censorship thing.
Yeah, but really, though?
I don't know. Number 4 from Animal Crossing. Even Animal Crossing got censored at one point.
What's the censor?
So apparently, in the Japanese version of Animal Crossing, there's these characters named Gracie and Sahara that are male, but speak in an effeminate manner.
Like how
they're
how
referred to? Okay. They're female characters here, but they're male characters who are like, oh hey. So obviously they didn't like the whole making fun of gay people thing, so they changed them to actually
upset
be
the apple cart.
Yeah, like oh hey, oh hi.
Hey girl, hey.
Number 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters. This is a really obscure bit of this is a really obscure bit of censorship, but there was a character created specifically for the Super Nintendo version of that game named Asuka.
Uh-huh.
And, she showed a little more booty in the Japanese version.
Oh, I don't really remember who Asuka is.
It's just some chick. And, she showed a little more booty, and I guess there was a little, believe it or not, a little titty bounce in the Japanese version.
A little
Yeah.
jiggle physics.
Yeah. Which is funny because it's not physics, it's a drawn sprite, but they just
Well,
edited it.
yeah.
Number 2, from The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. There's two things here. The big one that they're mentioning is the hippo that the guy is painting.
Okay.
She had boobs in the original, in the Japanese version, and she would cover them up whenever Link entered.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What? Oh.
And the other thing is the mermaid necklace thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a necklace. It was supposed to be her bikini top.
Oh.
That's why she
Oh.
says, "Don't look."
Oh my God! I didn't know that either.
And they don't mention this one, but the one really awkward censorship that I remembered was the guy saying, "You beat my brothers."
Yeah. Well, instead of killed.
Yeah, but they left the because he was a stuttering character. So instead of beat, it was beat.
Maybe because then mid stutter he corrected himself.
No, I think they just censored it. They know
Yeah.
what they kill. And finally, number 1 is from Pokemon. There's lots and lots and lots of censorship in Pokemon. You can talk about this. There could be a list of just that. But they're specifically talking about an old man standing in front of the one of the gyms that was, was an all-female gym.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh.
he's like peering in the window, and he says something like, "This gym is great. It's all women."
Oh my God.
And that wasn't censored in Pokemon Red and Blue, and it wasn't censored in Fire Red and Leaf Green. It was actually censored in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. When you go to Kanto, he's still there. But he says, "Oh, this gym is full of strong trainers."
Bah. I just
He's like,
remembered.
"Yeah, then why is your dick out?"
I'm really into physical fitness.
Yeah.
But
Another one is Pokemon Stadium. They mentioned in Pokemon Stadium a Nidoqueen would come out. She would like shake her tits at you.
that's weird.
Yeah, and there was also a line from one of the jugglers who would say he dropped his balls when he lost the battle. But yeah, that's 15 classic Nintendo games that had to be censored for various reasons. Not all of them were made by Nintendo, but they were all on Nintendo consoles. So out of 15, I'm going to say 11.
I'd say 12.
12. Oh my. I almost said 12, but then I was like, you know what? No.
Knock a point off?
I'm going to go with 11. I have another Nintendo theme list here that might be interesting.
Oh, yay.
15 worst decisions Nintendo's ever made.
Well, let me count the ways.
Well, I mean, they've had their ups and downs over the years. What do you think is like the single worst decision they've made?
Oh, the worst?
I mean, for me, the worst is calling it the Wii U.
Because people think it was probably an add-on.
Exactly what happened, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't Aonuma not even like that?
No, it was Mishimura that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
And now he's the president of Nintendo now. So.
Yeah. But you're gonna get your Virtual Boys. You're gonna get your games.
Speaking of which, number 13, the Virtual Boy.
Hey, ta-da!
Nothing virtual about it. And you know what's funny? Gunpei Yokoi designed this thing, and here's why it was so terrible. What we got was the prototype.
Yeah, it was. That was the. Yeah, you're right.
It was unfinished, and he begged them to not release it as is. And they're like, "No, we're doing this."
They're like, "Nope, need it now. Here we go."
Yeah, and they went forward, and I guess they really thought they needed the successor to the Game Boy right then, but obviously the Virtual Boy came and went, and the Game Boy stayed around for several more years.
Oh yeah.
Number 14, launching the Wii U. Many customers didn't understand that it was even a new console, and then when they thought it was just some tablet that you used with your Wii, and they were like, $300, fuck off.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Number 13, using cartridges for the N64.
Well,
at the time it seemed like a mistake because of how well the PlayStation sold. But, like, to be honest, I mean, the Nintendo 64, like, if you think about it, like, the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation, like, obviously PlayStation was just a better console. But the Nintendo 64 was special in its own way, and I don't think it would have been as good if it was just another PlayStation.
Yeah, like, it got rid of load times. They used the graphics. It made the graphics unique to that system.
It was a cool thing, yeah, exactly.
Like, you knew it was an N64 game by looking at it.
The mistake with the N64, in my opinion, was the design of the controller, but...
Oh, yeah, you needed two hands, man. Most
controllers require two hands.
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, please.
You needed, like, all the fingers. You needed, like, expansive hands.
Now, I gotta disagree with this one. This is interesting. For number 12, they're saying that it was a mistake to stick with the NES after the Genesis had come out.
What does that mean?
Listen to this. It says, back in the late 80s, Nintendo was riding high. Their popular Nintendo Entertainment System had swooped in during the aftermath of the gaming market crash in 1983 and had been the undisputed leader in console gaming ever since. But with success comes complacency. Nintendo severely underestimated their biggest rival, Sega, and the power of modern graphics. Nintendo figured that a customer would be willing to continuously purchase NES games for many years to come, a belief that proved false when Sega's Genesis hit store shelves. But the Super Nintendo came out like 2 years later, so...
Yeah, who's to say they weren't maybe working on something?
Of course they were working. Dude, they were working on the fucking original PlayStation at that point. A lot of people don't even know that.
The Super Nintendo PlayStation add-on thing?
Yeah, it wasn't originally an add-on. It was just a thing that they were going to do with Sony.
Oh, okay.
Number 11, this is the most recent one, at least as of yet, canceling the NES Classic.
Oh, yeah. It's limited run, man.
But nobody knew it was going to be a limited run, and it was just... I mean, everybody's kind of hoping that they're going to do like a Super NES Classic now, but you hope that you can actually get it and that it won't just be canceled like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they made money off of that. Number 10, pricing the 3DS too high. Yeah,
it did 3DS, start pretty pricey.
It cost $250 at first, and it wasn't selling.
I bought it hook, line, and sinker.
It wasn't selling too well, though, but then it dropped to $170 and became a real big deal.
Oh, yeah. Took the Vita out.
The Vita, unfortunately, never stood a chance, which is a shame because it's a damn fine system.
It is a good system.
Number 9, rejecting serious online play. Well, look, I mean, I know that Nintendo's way of doing it is kind of backwards and weird, but...
Friend codes.
Nobody likes the friend codes.
No.
But I have heard a lot of people who are really into playing first-person shooters online, right?
Yeah.
Like, say, Call of Duty, Battlefield, that kind of thing. And they can't stand dealing with the knobs that are online. The voice, and they said a lot of these people got super into Splatoon.
Oh.
Kind of interesting, huh? And they said that the best feature of Splatoon is the fact that it does not have voice chat.
Yeah, I guess that's true, isn't it?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy, though?
So everybody's nameless and faceless. You just work together.
Number 8, showing the Space World Zelda tech demo. Yeah, a lot of people expected that the next Zelda game would look like that.
Yeah.
So when they did first show off Wind Waker, people were kind of taken aback, and most people have since embraced the game. But there was a hell of a divide right then.
Oh, at the time, I was super happy that they went the route they did. I
was always like, well, let's just, see what it's going to be like. And I wound up thinking the game was fantastic, but I did know a lot of people who were completely disavowing it. Not based on the fact that it was cartoonish, but based on the fact that it wasn't what they thought they were going to get.
I thought the design was genius. I was so happy.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Number 7, the N64 DD.
We didn't even get it.
Japan barely got it. It was only sold through mail order.
Yeah.
That thing was doomed from the get-go. It was basically like, hey, remember the Famicom disk system? Let's make that again.
Yeah, because that totally worked. Well, actually, no, the FDS did sell half decent in Japan, I think.
Number 6, the Philips CDI.
Well, not really Nintendo, but I see what they're going for.
Well, the fact that Nintendo's poor reading of the contract led Philips to be able to use the Mario and Zelda licenses for a little while.
Yeah.
And pump out some really weird shit.
And YouTube poop was born.
Yeah, that's the only good thing that came out of that, right?
Yeah.
Boy, I wonder what Ganon's up to. Number 5, fighting with developers.
Oh, all the time?
It's pretty much a constant thing, yeah.
They were ironclad in the early days, though, like, with their contracts, like, you're working only for Nintendo.
You know what? It seems terrible by today's standards, but back then, they were just worried about the whole Atari crash happening again.
And who knows, maybe it was for the best, maybe not.
I think it was for the best, but at the same time, it was of its time and needed to eventually end.
Yes, that's true. Good point.
Number 4, abandoning core gamers due to the Wii's success. You know, I said the Wii was lightning in a bottle. They're never going to, like, follow that up with something like that again.
They didn't abandon core gamers.
Well, no, but that's the no, they didn't fully abandon core gamers, but the thing is they sold so many fucking copies of the Wii to people who were not normally gamers, and they thought, well, those people will buy the next thing. Instead, all those people, you know, the so-called casual gamers, mostly moved on to mobile games.
Yeah, because that's an easier thing.
It's
like,
a quick
it's
fix.
my phone and
they
game.
wanted a quick fix. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not a sustainable business model.
No, like, they should have kept doing what they did, and, you know.
Number 3, the Super Mario Brothers movie. This thing was such a travesty that they, you know, there are Nintendo properties that would make decent movies, but they're so reticent to sell the rights now because of just this one fucking movie.
That's a shame, because I would have liked to have seen, like, make it a cartoon.
There were a lot of talks in the late 90s about Metroid being a movie.
I could see them potentially doing that.
Well, John Woo was interested in directing.
Oh,
that
dude.
would have been kind of interesting. But well, I mean, I guess they're kind of getting over it now because apparently The Legend of Zelda is going to be a Netflix series.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy that.
Excuse me, princess.
Well, I just can't get over the idea of Link talking. It never works out well. Number 2, fighting with YouTubers. Now, I gotta say, as a YouTuber, Nintendo is one of the easiest companies to work with.
Really?
I've never had them claim copyright on any of my videos.
So how come there was all that? Oh, you can't. Is it just like a monetized thing?
It's just a thing where if you were playing their newer games, they wanted you to partner with them. That's all it was. But people blew it well out of proportion.
So like your Mario Kart 8s or your Breath of the Wilds.
Yeah, exactly. Or, well, at the time, it was more like, you know, the stuff from the Wii U. But yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever was on the
Smash.
Yeah, Smash Brothers, you know, the new Super Mario Brothers U, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Paper Mario Color Splash, all the new games. But, and there were 2 ways of doing it. One was where you could partner your whole channel with them, and one was where you just partner certain videos with them. And they're saying, oh, but they're taking part of their, you know, you know, but that, you know, but YouTube normally does that. Networks do that. That's normal.
They want to cut for their work?
Which is fine. Number 1, the Nintendo PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember a couple of, well, it was more than a couple of months ago now, I guess it was last year, how they found one of the prototypes?
No way. For reals?
Don't remember? They recently got the fucking thing working.
It works?
It fucking works.
Can you imagine seeing that boot up screen?
No, but yeah, they got some Super Famicom games to run on it, so.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That would be weird, like, to have that.
I gotta say, though, like, I think this was not a mistake because they decided they didn't want to do it for very good reason because Sony could have released games for it without any input from them, and they didn't want another company having that much control over the console.
Nintendo wanted their control over properties. And stuff.
Yeah, and they didn't, they didn't want anybody else like, cutting into their own console's market share, and and they never really saw the big deal about CDs, and I get that, and at the time everybody, like I talked about this a little with the Nintendo 64 thing. At the time it seemed like such a huge error, but CDs didn't last that much longer.
That is true. DVDs quickly took over.
And you know what's great about DVDs as opposed to CDs? They're a lot more fucking sturdy. They last a lot longer. Have you recently ever pulled out an old CD and tried to use it?
You can actually pull the material right off the back.
Yeah, with old CDs deteriorate like crazy. So, and plus the fact that first of all, I like PlayStation, so the fact that this gave birth to PlayStation is great for me. You can say it's a mistake for Nintendo, but let's face it, they needed the fucking competition.
Yeah, what would it have been like if Nintendo was still the big boy, throughout?
It meant it would have been interesting for sure, but we have Nintendo, we have PlayStation and Xbox, and they're all great in their own way, and I think Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft know that competition is good for the market.
Yeah, because you got to one-up. You got to make the best thing, make it better.
That's why whenever one of them releases a new console, they all jerk off all over each other on Twitter about it.
It's a big bukkake.
Pretty much. I remember when PS4 came out, Nintendo and Microsoft couldn't stop congratulating Sony.
Yeah, way to go, guys.
So, all right, out of 15, this was very interesting, but I disagreed with some of it. I'll give it a 10.
Oh, I was going to go 13. I was quite impressed
13
with their follies.
I have another Nintendo-related list, but it's a lot about Pokemon. I don't know if you'd be interested. It's I could just save it for Peyton if you're not interested, but it's 17 Pokemon that are impossible to catch without a walkthrough.
Maybe I don't know. Is he passionate about Pokemon?
Well, he's into it. I wouldn't say passionate, but he's into it.
All right.
So you want to do it or not?
Throw to Peyton. Throw to Peyton.
All right, we'll do that one on List Critics. All right. Let's see.
Peyton Manning.
He is gonna knock you out, I swear.
Yeah.
Say shit like that. Oh, excuse me. All right. Okay, I have a list here from Slayer Darth. He hasn't contributed anything in a good long time.
All right, welcome back.
And I hadn't even heard from the motherfucker in a long time as he showed up at the stream.
Right? Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, hey, it's you. I thought you died or went to Gallo or whatever the fuck y'all got over there. It's another one of these supremely nerdy, irritating lists. But what the hell? Welcome back, Slayer Darth. 10 inventors whose inventions or discoveries were stolen or wrongly attributed to others.
Okay, so your Edisons and your Teslas.
Well, more Tesla than Edison.
Well, you know what I mean. He's the steal. They say he's the stealer.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Number 10 is Marconi, an Italian inventor who was working on a device to transmit messages encoded in signals over long distances. Made frequent use of Tesla's oscillating technology. Tesla was fine with this at first, but this soon changed when in 1904 the U.S. Patent Office decided to award credit for the discovery to Marconi, even though Tesla had used his electrically energized Tesla coils for the same exact purpose and had this patented in 1900.
But if it's patented, you can't go back on that, right?
Apparently you can.
Back.
Number 9, Novell. The company practically invented the concept of a network operating system in the early 1990s, and this was before my time, but my father, who works as a Windows network administrator, had to, in his first IT job in the early 90s, migrate all of their Novell workstations to Windows, but he maintains that Novell's network directory services were a clear precursor to Active Directory.
Huh.
Okay, that doesn't seem like somebody stole the invention. That seems more like somebody just made it better.
I don't get it.
Novell did it first. Windows did it better.
Okay.
I mean, that
we
doesn't
improved
seem...
on your model.
Doesn't... Yeah, it seems... Yeah, I mean, that's just normal in IT.
Okay.
Number 8, Vinton Cerf with Lawrence Roberts, Leonard Kleinrock, and Robert Kahn, a computer scientist who worked on the ARPANET project, and who was often referred to as the father of the Internet. Apparently, Al Gore claimed to have taken an initiative in creating the Internet during his days in Congress. All right, that's a myth. He never claimed to have created the Internet.
No, he never said those words.
He said something similar to that.
Yeah.
But he was trying to say, because he was stumbling all over his words, really, was that when he was in the military, he helped with the building of the oldest form of the Internet, like literally like laying the cables and shit, because it was originally used for the military.
That's the ARPANET, right?
So when he says he helped in creating the Internet, that's like, saying that, like an architect built a building and the guy who actually hammered the nail says, well, I helped with that.
Yeah.
Now, that's kind of the thing. Number 7, Richard Pierce. The Wright brothers are often referred to as pioneering powered flight, but Pierce accomplished the same feat 9 months prior to their discovery.
Really?
Well, I never heard of the guy, so maybe he did. I mean,
well, he needed to be a little more forthcoming. I guess.
Maybe he needed to be a whole lot louder about it.
Mm-hmm. Squeaky wheel.
Number 6, Carl Benz, who invented the first automobile. Henry Ford is often attributed as the father of the automobile. No, he's not attributed as the father of the automobile. He's attributed as the person who came up with the means of production for mass-producing cars. No one says that he invented cars.
So he came up with the machines in factories to make a whole bunch?
He came up with the idea of the assembly line putting together cars.
Okay.
That's what Henry Ford... Because cars are around, before Ford.
The horseless carriage.
Number 5, Xerox, whose graphic user interface was lifted for the Macintosh. Ordinarily, this wouldn't be such a big deal for me if not for the lawsuit that Apple filed against Microsoft alleging graphic user interface theft when they did the same exact thing with Xerox.
GUIs.
Yeah, Xerox kind of came up with Macintosh before Macintosh came up with Macintosh.
Yeah.
Number 4, Gary Kildall. He wrote CP/M, an operating system that ran on early microcomputers. A programmer called Tim Patterson, working for IBM at the time, wrote what would become MS-DOS, but borrowing heavily from CP/M, Kildall was able to successfully sue IBM for copyright infringement.
Oh, man. Dude came up with DOS. I used to know all of the DOS prompt commands.
Dude, I still remember that shit.
Oh, I abandoned that as soon as I needed to.
I still remember all the commands and shit.
C:\backgrader.
Yeah, all that good shit. Number 3, Rosalind Franklin. There was an X-ray of the diffusion pattern of DNA, which technically was hers, but was used by a man called Maurice Wilkins, who showed it to Francis Crick and James Watson, helping them to build a model of the double helix structure and bagging the 3 of them collectively a Nobel Prize in chemistry, even though Wilkins wasn't even responsible for the X-ray in the first place.
Oh, man.
Okay. That's interesting.
Nobel Prize.
But it seems like she was just the X-ray tech.
Yeah.
It seems that's kind of like, I don't know. That's kind of like if you took a picture of something weird and then somebody went out and said what it was and it was some big discovery, but you're like, but I took the picture.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's nice,
or it could be that Slayer Darth is really simplifying it.
That's true.
Who knows? Number 2, Antonio Marucci. He invented the telephone, but Alexander Graham Bell was able to beat him in court. I read an article once which stated that Marucci was so poor he could only afford at his counsel the son of someone from the village where he grew up.
Yeah, something Canada doesn't like to point out.
Why is that?
Well, he's from Canada.
Oh.
Alexander Graham Bell.
Oh.
One of our big companies is called Bell.
We had Ma Bell and all that shit.
Yeah.
But what about Elijah Gray?
Oh, who was that?
Didn't he kind of also invent the telephone?
Oh, boy. Everybody's claiming it now?
Well, I mean, it seems like a thing that a lot of people would have been working on because it seemed like we kind of needed something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like the technology was there, someone had to make it.
Yeah. And probably number 1. Who do you think number 1 is?
Tesla and Edison and all that.
Tesla. I put him here because technically Edison cheated him out allegedly of an invention where he refused to pay him for months of work he'd poured into making Edison's power generators more efficient. Also, to everyone who says we have no proof about Edison's intellectual property theft, I am sure that his live demonstration of an elephant being electrocuted to death outside of Coney Island Zoo, which we have on film, implies that he was more than capable of stealing other people's inventions.
Good Lord, that exists?
Well, actually, okay, the thing where he would have animals electrocuted was not to steal an invention. It had to do with the alternating current, the AC and the
AC.
So Tesla had, I forget which one had which.
DC, one had AC, one had DC.
Yeah, but one had, so Edison had this brilliant fucking idea of preying on the average stupidity of the morons that were derping around at this time by using Tesla's electric power to kill animals, thereby claiming that it's more dangerous.
Oh, okay. That's really stupid.
And it worked because people associated Tesla's current with animals being killed, even though it was Edison doing it.
That's got to be some false. I don't know. There's
That's some fuck shit, is what it is.
Yeah.
So
that's like a fallacy of some kind.
It's several things. Out of 10, what do you say, Jesse? That last one certainly got you kind of indignant, even though I had to kind of embellish it slightly to explain, because he didn't really explain too thoroughly.
Wow.
That's what that was about, though. Yeah, people did some weird shit back then.
That's crazy. I don't know. It was pretty it was fascinating.
Fascinating.
Fascinating. 9 out of 10.
I will say 8.
Good marks. And way to be super nerdy. We need more of that.
Yeah, well, as long as he's not sending like top 10 best-selling gift cards in the museum kind of shit that we used to get.
Top 10 DNA strands.
Oh no! Don't tell him that. He'll do that shit. Hell no.
This is a series of numbers and letters.
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no. God. All right. Well then, I think that's going to be the show there.
That's the show, folks.
That's entertainment.
Now that's comedy.
Yeah. Now that's sexual.
Yeah. Well. All right.
All right. So
if you're nasty.
Nice people, Jesse.
If you're nasty.